Chapter 1605. 1605 Battle of Madness 4. Within the Solitaire Mountains, the closure of the Array formation represented the submission of the Solitaire sect. Two experts at the 9th rank of the Profound Void tier were facing two experts at the 9th rank of the Profound Void tier from the Solitaire sect, as well as Nangong Zhenghe from the Southern Royal Family. There were a total of 3 experts. 3 against 2. Even if they could win, the Solitaire sect and Nangong Zhenghe would have to pay an extremely heavy price. This price would at the very least destroy more than half of the sect and at the very most, kill an expert at level 9 of the see-through void stage. The price was not something that the sect could bear. However, what shocked all the experts and disciples of the sect and all the forces in the vast region was that Wang Xian was still staring at all the people of the sect with bloodlust and killing intent. Is he crazy? Unless he is injured here, he will not be able to bring peace to the sect. What is the Sky Demon trying to do? My God, injured. What does the Sky Demon mean? Other than killing him, will he not leave? Isn't this too violent? For the sake of nearly 100,000 people who died because of him, is the Sky Demon going to fight the sect to the death? In the surroundings, everyone's forces retreated to a place more than 10 kilometers away. Looking at the Sky Demon who was still floating in the sky, each and every one of them revealed a horrified expression. The sect had already given in. What else did the Sky Demon want to do? Fight with his life? But was there a need for that? This was purely an act of suicide. Sky Demon, don't think that my sect is really afraid of you. The Supreme Headmaster roared at Wang Xian with an unsightly expression. His face was filled with fury. Streams of green wind whistled and condensed around him. It was like a sign formed by a hurricane. At the side, Patriarch Fengqi's expression kept changing as if he was making a huge decision. As for Nangong Zhenghe, who was 1,000 meters away, his expression turned even darker. He never expected that the Sky Demon was also an expert at the 9th level of the see-through void tier. Furthermore, he killed all the experts and disciples of the Southern Royal Family in an extremely violent manner. He had killed them right in front of him. He clenched his teeth tightly as he looked at the crazy Sky Demon. He had never expected to provoke such a crazy person. Unfortunately, there was no room for regret. Also, there was that guy who killed his father. The killing intent on Nangong Zhenghe's body became more and more serious. Haha, since you are not afraid, let's have a life and death battle. Haha. Today, I will make your lone sect fall into fear. Wang Xian stared at Patriarch Fengqi, the supreme sect leader, and laughed maniacally. He had already consumed the violent blood pill. Wang Xian was already prepared for his body to be damaged. Before he died, he would kill as many people as he could. After saying that, Wang Xian waved his dragon claw and the 5 elements millstone appeared above his head. The 5 elements millstone within a radius of 6 kilometers was emitting destructive energy. Destroy. Wang Xian did not waste any more time talking to them. He raised his head and looked at the great mill of 5 elements in the sky. Then, he shouted loudly. Buzz. Streams of terrifying energy headed straight for Yingtian Peak. Good, good. Do you really think that we don't dare to fight you to the death? Since we are going to kill you, let's do it. We will not rest until one of us dies. Patriarch Fengqi, who was standing at the side, saw Wang Xian's attack. His eyes revealed a crazed look as he roared furiously. We will not rest until one of us is dead. Kill. The Supreme Headmaster's face was filled with malevolence as well. His tyrannical aura was completely unleashed. As a faction that had stood firm for tens of thousands of years, as a peerless expert who had cultivated to the 9th level of the see-through void tier, they had experienced many life-and-death battles throughout their lives. They would be filled with fear towards the Sky Demon and Mo Sha. However, the Sky Demon's continuous provocations and attacks had completely infuriated the 2 strongest experts of the sect. Their bodies were also emitting the aura of a life-and-death battle. Dharma idol, hurricane sweeping the world. Patriarch Fengqi let out a furious roar. A hurricane that reached to the sky instantly formed in front of him and headed toward the destructive force of the 5 elements' great mill. Dharma idol, heavenly wind turbulence. The Supreme Headmaster revealed a ruthless expression as he attacked Wang Xian directly. Gusts of heavenly wind turbulence covered an area of 10 kilometers. In this space, gusts of terrifying wind attribute tore apart the surrounding air. Even the air was rustling. Miss Ling Jian, be careful here. Boss Mo, I'm coming. When Mo Sha saw that Wang Xian was prepared to fight to the death with the sect, he was a little shocked. However, Mo Sha, who had guessed it beforehand, was not too surprised. He moved his body and attacked the Supreme Sect leader directly. Nangong Jianghe, help us stop this old fellow. We will kill the Sky Demon and then kill him. Our Supreme Sect and the Southern Royal Family are completely united. When the Supreme Sect leader saw Mo Sha's attack, his expression changed slightly. He immediately shouted loudly, "Good. Mo Sha, I will definitely kill you for killing my father. Sky Demon, you killed a disciple of my Southern Royal Family. My Southern Royal Family will not rest until you die." Nangong Jianghe's expression changed drastically. A terrifying killing intent slowly shot out of his eyes as he coldly roared. If Mo Sha wasn't the person who killed his father, he might not have attacked. But now, they were irreconcilable and would not rest until one of them was dead. Kill. Who was afraid of whom? Hiss, my God, they are really fighting. The battle between the 5 top-tier profound void tier 9 powerhouses has not happened for nearly 10,000 years, right? It has been over 10,000 years since such a terrifying battle broke out in the vast region. Why does this Sky Demon want to fight until one of them is dead? If they really fight, only my sect and the Southern Royal Family will win. In the distance, everyone looked at the battle that had completely erupted, and their faces were filled with shock. They once again retreated more than 10 kilometers. Such a terrifying battle would affect an area of at least 50 kilometers. Mo Sha, today, I will personally take revenge for my father. Nangong Jianghe stared at Mo Sha, and he directly attacked with destructive flames. Dragon Kingdom in the palm, dragon head under the heavens. 10,000-mile dragon body, Wang Xian let out a furious roar and unleashed all of his Dharma forms. The dragon claw, dragon head, and dragon body enlarged and transformed into a divine dragon beast that was about 10 kilometers long. 10 kilometers was 10,000 meters. A body that was 10,000 meters long was comparable to the size of a mountain peak in the Solitaire Mountains. Boom! Wang Xian waved his dragon claw and attacked the Supreme Sect leader and Elder Fengkai with an attack that contained endless power. With a body of 10,000 meters, it is comparable to the giant beast of the Mistress of the Barren Sea. When they saw Wang Xian in his complete form, the Supreme Sect leader and Elder Fengkai's expressions changed slightly. All the forces that were watching in the surroundings were also filled with astonishment. His physique was too terrifying. Boom! 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 Patriarch Fengkai and the Supreme Headmaster dodged Wang Xian's dragon claw. That gigantic dragon claw landed on Yingtian Peak. The entire 10,000-meter tall peak collapsed immediately. Chapter 1606. 1606 Battle of Madness 5. Rumble. The 10,000-meter tall mountain collapsed. Looking from afar, it gave people a terrifying visual impact. Especially the terrifying divine dragon in the sky that was 10,000 meters tall. The power of this body is too terrifying. Only the mountain peaks in my mountain range can leave a mark on it. Now, it has collapsed directly. A body of 10,000 meters. The heavenly demon can actually transform into a body of 10,000 meters. I wonder which is more powerful, him or the goddess of desolation. The physical strength of the heavenly demon is very terrifying. However, I still feel that the goddess of desolation is more powerful. The strength of the giant beast of the goddess of desolation is the true destruction of the world. Also, the terrifying means of the goddess of desolation should be stronger than the heavenly demon. The various forces in the distance looked at Wang Xian's figure with shock on their faces. This 10,000-meter-long body made everyone think of the goddess of desolation and the giant beast under her command. They were the same 10,000-meter-long giant beast. The two of them made a comparison. Most of the experts still felt that the goddess of desolation was stronger. The means of the goddess of desolation were much stronger than the sky demon. Apocalyptic gale. Apocalyptic gale. An angry voice came out from the mouth of the Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai at the same time. Within a radius of more than 10 kilometers, terrifying wind blades descended from the sky and attacked Wang Xian's 10,000-meter-tall body. 5 elements millstone, defend. The 5 elements millstone above his head spun rapidly. A cloud of earth-like fog formed in the sky and completely covered the wind blades in the sky. Kill. Wang Xian opened his gigantic mouth. A wave of destructive energy shot forward directly. At the same time, his gigantic body collided with the Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai. The Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai were wind attribute cultivators. Their speed was already extremely terrifying. However, compared to Wang Xian, who moved 10,000 meters lightly, there was still a huge gap. Wind spear. The two of them had a slight change in expression. They hurriedly avoided the range of the destructive energy attack. A 5,000-meter-long sharp wind spear pierced straight at Wang Xian. Boom, boom, boom. The destructive energy continued to attack forward. Behind them, the mountain peaks in the Solitaire Mountains collapsed. However, the two 5,000-meter-long wind spears pierced straight into Wang Xian's body, bringing with them a large amount of blood. The appearance of a 100-meter wound was not a serious injury to Wang Xian. BZZZ BZZZ. However, what shocked the Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai was that the open wound was melting rapidly. The flesh and blood were melting and entering Wang Xian's body, turning into the purest energy. He seems to have consumed a forbidden elixir that uses the consumption of his body to increase his strength. Kill him, we can kill him. Patriarch Fonkai was the first to react. His eyes were filled with radiance as he roared. Kill. A hint of coldness flashed across the Supreme Headmaster's face. He waved the staff in his hand and gusts of wind lances shot towards Wang Xian. Patriarch Fonkai held the huge fan with both hands and waved it forward. Roar. Roar. Faced with the attacks from the two of them, Wang Xian's eyes were filled with fury and viciousness. He completely ignored the attacks from the two of them. His huge body collided with them directly. This is bad. He wants to exchange injuries with us. The Supreme Headmaster's face changed drastically when he saw Wang Xian charging forward fearlessly. However, it was extremely difficult for them to dodge the attacks from his 10,000-meter-long body. The wind spear landed on Wang Xian's body, causing blood to splatter in all directions. Blood rained down onto the ground. Bang! The huge force collided with the Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai. The two of them were like flies. Their faces turned extremely pale as they charged backward. Bang, bang, bang. After crashing through more than 10,000-meter-tall mountains, they finally stopped and spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it, this fellow is fighting with us. He is using up his life force. Let's hide. Patriarch Fonch's eyes flashed with a green light as he reminded the Supreme Headmaster. Yes. The Supreme Headmaster nodded his head. His expression changed slightly as he looked at Wang Xian, who was charging towards them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The two of them moved and dodged to the left and right respectively. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of collision rang out again. The mountain peaks within the mountain range were smashed into pieces. Go to hell. More than a dozen mountain peaks were smashed into pieces. The Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fonkai brandished their weapons. The huge spear landed on Wang Xian's body once again. It was 100 meters deep and fresh blood splattered everywhere. Roar, roar, dodge. Then I will attack the disciples of your sect. Wang Xian roared with a brutal look on his face. He swept his gaze across the area and attacked with the 5 elements grinding mill. He knew that he was definitely not a match for the Supreme Sect leader and Patriarch Fonkai. After consuming the explosive blood pill, he could only kill a few more people before he died. Damn it, all disciples of the Solitaire Sect, run. Run far away. Today, we will definitely kill the Sky Fiend. The Supreme Sect Master roared and warned all the disciples of the Solitaire Sect within a radius of dozens of kilometers. Boom, boom, boom. Ah. However, When a river of obliteration appeared, it directly attacked the disciples of the Solitaire sect who had no time to dodge. The energy of the obliteration line killed thousands of disciples of the Solitaire sect. The rest of the disciples of the Solitaire sect fled into the distance quickly. What's going on? The Sky Fiend seems to be risking his life. Patriarch Fengkai said that he took a forbidden pill and that he was consuming his life force. The Sky Fiend didn't seem to have such terrifying strength when he was in the Iceheart dynasty. He might have used another method to reach such a level in such a short time. Look, the flesh and blood inside the Sky Demon's injuries are burning. The Sky Demon is using his life force to increase his strength. Everyone in the surroundings was staring at this battle, especially Wang Xian and the lone faction. Looking at the condition inside the Sky Demon's body, everyone was extremely astonished. The Sky Demon's strength seemed to have been forcefully increased through a forbidden method. No wonder the Supreme Sect Leader and Patriarch Fengkai of our sect are confident in killing the Sky Demon. So that's the reason. The Elder from the Wuji Empire and the group of experts at level 8 of the See-Through Realm had already seen through the clues and whispered. However, I'm afraid that our sect will suffer a huge loss during this period. Some of the experts said the same thing. Interfere with him. We can't let him destroy our sect. The Supreme Headmaster shouted loudly. He flew to the back of Wang Xian and slashed at the terrifying wind blades. If you want to tie me down, trap me. Wang Xian saw the Supreme Headmaster flying to the back and set his eyes on Patriarch Fengkai. The 5 elements grinding mill revolved rapidly and flew towards Patriarch Fengkai. The 5 elements revolved and the strongest binding force landed directly on Patriarch Fengkai. Chapter 1607. 1607. Oh no! Patriarch Fengkai felt the energy that was confined around him, and a hint of fear appeared on his face. Annihilate! Wang Xian seized the opportunity and opened his mouth. A river of annihilation headed straight for Patriarch Fengkai. Universe Wind, Wind Shield, Wind Wall, Traceless Wind. Seeing the terrifying energy sweeping towards him, Patriarch Fengkai's expression changed drastically. Waves of powerful defenses appeared directly in front of him. Go to hell! The Supreme Headmaster's face changed drastically when he saw Wang Xian using all his strength to attack Elder Fengkai. He raised the wind attribute staff in his hand. A wind spear that was 20 meters thick appeared in the sky above him. Both of his hands attacked Wang Xian. The river of annihilation swept onto Elder Fengkai's body. The wind attribute defense collapsed rapidly. Elder Fengkai spat out blood and resisted desperately. The 20-meter thick spear landed on Wang Xian's body and penetrated 1,000 meters deep into his body. Fresh blood splattered in all directions as intense pain spread throughout his entire body. However, due to Wang Xian's terrifying body size, his injuries were not fatal. Wang Xian endured the intense pain in his body and charged straight at Patriarch Fengkai. Boom! The tremendous energy coupled with his terrifying body sent Patriarch Fengkai flying. One of his arms turned into a bloody mist after the collision. Hiss, as expected, the Sky Demon must have consumed a forbidden pill or used a forbidden spell. However, under the desperate situation of the Sky Demon, one of them might die. This is a life or death situation. It's really possible that one of them might be taken away. Everyone around was extremely shocked when they saw how Wang Xian was fighting for his life. The risk of a level 9 seeping void martial artist was extremely terrifying. If this goes on, I might die even if I can kill the Sky Demon. Patriarch Fengkai's expression changed drastically when he saw Wang Xian's crazed look. The Supreme Headmaster's expression didn't look good either. He looked to the side and saw Nangong Jianghe and Mo Shuo fighting each other. Although Nangong Jianghe was at a disadvantage, his life wasn't in danger. It was impossible for him to help them. If another expert of the Southern Royal Family at level 9 of the See-Through Void tier arrives, he can definitely kill the Sky Demon quickly. The Supreme Headmaster growled with an extremely embarrassed expression. On the other hand, Patriarch Fengkai was dodging Wang Xian's attack in fear. The mountains of the Lone Sect collapsed one by one with a deafening sound. Half of the 108 mountains had collapsed. It's time to go to the Solitaire sect. Once I get those life stones from the solitaire sect, Little Blue's strength will be greatly improved. At this moment, in a barren sea covered by black clouds, a woman with a beautiful figure like a goddess stood on the sea surface, emitting a mysterious energy. Her beautiful eyes looked ahead as she murmured, "Xiaolan, it's time for us to leave," she said softly. A pleasant voice sounded in the dark sea. Gulp, gulp, gulp. As soon as her voice faded, an incomparably huge figure slowly appeared on the surface of the sea. The figure was over 10,000 meters long. However, its width was also a terrifying 2,000 meters. Compared to Wang Xian's dragon head and body, which was 500 to 600 meters wide, this huge beast which was 2,000 meters wide looked even more terrifying. A special energy was emitted from its body. It was a grayish body shape. From afar, it looked like a planet that contained a terrifying energy. It emerged from the bottom of the sea and slowly opened its huge mouth. A huge abyss mouth that looked like a black hole appeared. It was so deep that one could not see the bottom. Even an expert at the insightful void tier would be terrified when they saw this scene. The huge mouth slowly enveloped the woman. An incomparably huge black hole door suddenly appeared in front of her. At this moment, in the sky over 10,000 kilometers away, a huge abyss mouth with a circumference of 3,000 meters appeared out of thin air in the sky. An incomparably huge figure directly blocked half of the sky. The huge beast appeared. It opened its huge mouth. In the center of the huge mouth, there was an incomparably mysterious woman floating. In less than 10 seconds, another black hole appeared in front of the giant beast. The giant beast entered the black hole and slowly disappeared. Every 10 seconds, it would travel over 10,000 kilometers. How terrifying! How terrifying! Boom, boom, boom! At the position of the lone sect, the terrifying battle continued. The towering and magnificent main peak of the lone sect collapsed under the collision of Wang Xian. The entire solitaire sect was in a mess. It would take hundreds or even thousands of years for it to recover. Why isn't he dead yet? Why isn't he dead yet? His body size has clearly decreased to around 7,000 meters. The Supreme Chief and Patriarch Fengkai looked extremely embarrassed. The body size of the Sky Demon had decreased from over 10,000 meters to around 7,000 meters. However, his destructive power was still extremely terrifying. After 10 minutes of fighting, Patriarch Fengkai's body was covered in injuries. Not only did one of his arms disappear, even his chest had collapsed. If nothing goes wrong, the Sky Fiend will die, but Patriarch Fengkai will also be dragged down the abyss by the Sky Fiend. In the distance, all the factions in the vast region were watching this terrifying battle in utter shock. This battle was destined to shake the entire vast region. The Sky Devil would definitely die, but the ancestor of the Solecism sect would also die. Wang. At this moment, a huge black hole suddenly appeared in the sky. A barbaric aura directly came from within. The sudden change in the sky and that terrifying aura caused everyone's bodies to tremble. Even Mo Shuo and Nangong Jianghe were shocked. They stopped fighting and looked at the sky. The mistress of the savage sea is here. The Supreme Headmaster and Elder Fengkai, who were hiding, moved when they saw the familiar black hole in the sky. Their faces were filled with excitement as they stared at the black hole. Huh! A familiar aura came rushing over and caused Wang Xian to stop moving. He looked at the black hole that had suddenly appeared in the sky and his eyes were sparkling. Woo! A joyful voice was heard from within the black hole. The voice instantly resonated throughout the entire world. An incomparably huge grey head slowly emerged from the black hole. The head opened its mouth that seemed to be able to swallow a mountain. In the center of the mouth, there was a woman floating. It's the Desolation Goddess and her huge beast. My God, the Desolation Goddess is here, she's actually here. In the beginning, the Supreme Headmaster once said that the Desolation Goddess would come, but I didn't expect that she would really come now. Oh my God, this is too terrifying. She came out of the void directly. This. Sounds of shock came from everyone's mouth. The entire world was focused on the mysterious and powerful Goddess of Desolation. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, Goddess of Desolation, you are here. Help us kill this heavily injured Sky Demon. All the life stones of our sect will be given to you immediately. Furthermore, we promise that we will gather the strength of the entire sect to search for the life stones for the goddess of desolation in the future. The Supreme Hierarch's excited voice sounded. Patriarch Fonkai looked over and heaved a heavy sigh of relief. With the arrival of the goddess of desolation, they would be saved. With the giant beast of the goddess of desolation, she could completely deal with the heavily injured Skyfiend. Chapter 1608. 1608 shocked the world. It's over. The relationship between the goddess of desolation and the lone sect. The Sky Demon is doomed. This time, not only the Sky Demon is doomed, even the old man Mo Shaw is in trouble. The goddess of desolation is too powerful. Sigh, brother Wang Xian. At the positions of the He clan and the Wuji Empire, when they saw the goddess of desolation suddenly appearing in the void and heard the voice of the supreme sect master, their faces revealed a helpless expression. The desolate goddess was an extremely mysterious woman who possessed an incomparably terrifying gigantic beast. After the desolate goddess appeared and destroyed a first-rate family, she was declared as the fourth largest superforce in the vast region. A human and a beast were considered superforces. One could imagine how much fear everyone had towards the desolate goddess. In fact, just now, everyone had compared the 10,000-meter body of the Sky Demon to the desolate goddess gigantic beast. In comparison, everyone still thought that the giant beast of the desolate goddess was more terrifying. Now, the Sky Demon's strength had greatly decreased, and with the arrival of the desolate goddess, it could easily punish the Sky Demon. This time, the Sky Demon's hope of sacrificing a level 9 profound void martial artist with his life is about to be lost. The elder of the Wuji Empire's level 8 profound void martial artist said with some disappointment. Wu Qing City watched helplessly from the side. As for He Yuan, He Suiqing, and the rest, they let out an indignant and sorrowful sigh. Oh. The terrifying giant beast completely emerged from the black hole. His gigantic grey eyes looked at Wang Xian in the sky. There was some excitement in his eyes as he let out a cheerful voice once again. The moment he came out, he sensed that extremely familiar aura. That aura that was like his father. The huge beast, Xiaolan. The mysterious woman who was floating in the middle of Xiaolan's huge mouth had naturally left the Dragon Palace. She was Lan Qingyu, who had left Wang Xian for more than 2 years. Lan Qingyu, who possessed the inheritance of the ancient god Kuan feeding master, had potential that was not inferior to the divine dragon inheritance. After the Dragon Palace moved to the extraordinary continent, she led Little Blue on the path of the strong. This journey lasted for more than 2 years. Her strength had already reached the 8th level of the profound void tier. As for Little Blue, she was even stronger than her. Because of a coincidence, she found that the only sect had obtained a large number of life stones, so she wanted to obtain them from there. Little Blue's strength increased rapidly, so she needed more and more energy. However, as long as she could obtain the life stones from Only Me sect, she could greatly increase Little Blue's strength. She could even break through to the longevity realm, become a demigod, and become a space beast. As long as she obtained these life stones, Lan Qingyu decided to return to the Dragon Palace, her husband's side, and her sister's side. Back to her home. When she came out from the Kuan cave, a blood connection and a spiritual connection was immediately transmitted over. She ignored the figure of the Supreme Headmaster and the purpose of her visit. She quickly looked at that figure. Xiao Xian, husband. When Lan Qingyu saw the body of the divine dragon with attributes, 2 years of longing and 2 years of emotions made her burst out completely. Her body trembled slightly. However, when she sensed the condition of Wang Xian's body, her face instantly darkened. She felt heartache and a surge of anger. This was her husband. She had distanced herself from him in order to increase her strength so that she could fight alongside her husband and help him. Now that she saw that he was severely injured and could not even recover from it, the dignity and anger that she had accumulated over the past 2 years of training burst out completely. Female sovereign of the Wildlands Sea, help us kill the Sky Demon first, then kill this level 9 profound void martial artist. Our southern royal family promises to mobilize all our strength to help you find what you need. Nangong Jianghe, who was dozens of kilometers away from the battlefield, also hurriedly shouted. His face was also filled with excitement. The sky demon was heavily injured, and the wilderness goddess had descended. Once the wilderness goddess helped them, they would be able to easily destroy the sky demon. With the wilderness goddess' mysterious energy, she could definitely keep Mo Sha. Excitement, and fervor. Ha ha ha, wilderness goddess, our two superpowers have promised that as long as you help us, we will definitely repay you tenfold. When the Supreme Sect Master heard the promise from the Southern royal family, he also roared with excitement. Previously, he was able to use the life stone to invite the barbarian goddess. This time around, he was confident that he could get her to help them. That's great, the barbarian goddess is here. Kill the sky demon, kill the sky demon. At this moment, Ao Tian also roared in a low and savage voice. Because of the woman he liked, the only sect had fallen into this situation. After this matter was over, he would definitely be a sinner of the lone sect. However, as long as he killed the sky demon, he would be able to reduce his crimes. It's over. The two superpowers have made a huge promise to invite them, and with the relationship between the wilderness goddess and them, the sky demon and the elder might be left behind. The sky demon and the other peerless expert should have left long ago. Now, with the wilderness goddess' strange methods, it will be difficult for them to escape. When the surrounding forces saw this scene, they thought to themselves, Xiao Xian. When Lan Qingyu heard the words of the Supreme Headmaster and Nangong Jianghe, her body trembled slightly and she clenched her fists tightly. She opened her mouth and called out gently to Wang Xian. Her voice instantly resounded throughout the entire world. Xiao Xian. The gentle call stunned the excited Supreme Headmaster and everyone from the sect. Everyone around was also stunned. Husband. Wu. Another voice was heard along with the cheers of the terrifying giant beast. Xiao Lan brought the wilderness goddess and flew slowly towards the sky demon. Xiao Lan's huge figure moved and came directly in front of Wang Xian. She used her head to touch Wang Xian gently in an attempt to please him. Lan Qingyu gently caressed Wang Xian's huge dragon head. A mysterious energy entered Wang Xian's body and healed his injuries. However, at this moment, the entire world seemed to have turned silent. Everyone was looking at this scene in disbelief. Husband. These two words resonated deeply in everyone's mind like thunder. The sky demon, the saint of light, and the priest. Everyone knew that his real name was Wang Xian. Xiao Xian was such an affectionate name. Husband, this was a form of address between husband and wife. The sky demon was the husband of the wilderness goddess, and the wife of the sky demon. What the fuck? Shocking. Cough cough, Qingyu, it's been more than 2 years. Did you miss me? Wang Xian looked at Lan Qingyu's sudden appearance. He was also a little surprised and pleasantly surprised. His figure moved and transformed into a human form. He gently touched her face and his face was full of smiles. Chapter 1609. 1609 World Shocking 2. How is this possible? How is this possible? How can the mistress of the savage sea be the wife of a sky fiend? Impossible, absolutely impossible. It must be an illusion. The Supreme Hierarch, Patriarch Feng Kai, and everyone from the entire lone sect stared at this scene in disbelief. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. They had originally thought that the arrival of the wilderness goddess would help lone sect. But now, the wilderness goddess was the wife of a sky fiend. Looking at the way they were in love, what would the consequences be? Everyone could imagine it. Cough, cough. Oh my God, I thought the end of the sky fiend was coming. Now. Everyone around was also watching in shock. They had thought that the arrival of the wilderness goddess was the end of the sky demon. However, they had never expected that the wilderness goddess was the woman of the sky demon. Just now, they had been discussing which of the wilderness goddess beasts was more powerful compared to the sky demon. It was widely believed that the beasts were more powerful. However, looking at the 10,000-meter-long beast, it kept rubbing against the sky demon's body as if it was trying to please it. This fuck, it felt as if the sky demon was the giant beast's father. Thinking about it, it made sense. The wilderness goddess was the giant beast's master, a mother-like existence, and the sky demon was its father-like existence. What was there to compare between a son and a father? Thinking of this, the corners of everyone's mouths couldn't help but twitch. I originally thought that Xiao Lan would return home after increasing her strength. I didn't expect to meet Xiao Xian here. Your injuries are very serious. Leave the rest to me. I left these 2 years because I didn't want to drag you down. I wanted to fight alongside you. Lan Qingyu leaned on Wang Xian's body gently and said excitedly. The peerless battle in the vast region has turned into a scene where couples meet and show off their love. He. At the side, Mo Shuo was also looking at this scene with a stunned expression. On the contrary, he was in a very good mood as he exclaimed. He didn't expect Boss Mo to be so awesome. Even the goddess of the wilderness was his wife. He couldn't help but admire her. When the surrounding sects and Nanhuang Jianghe heard the words of the goddess of the wilderness, they revealed an embarrassed expression. I know the situation inside my body. Today, I will definitely be injured. Bring Ling Jian back to the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian said to Lan Qingyu. Lose my body? Lan Qingyue's expression changed drastically. A terrifying killing intent was slowly emitted from her body. Xiao Xian, I will help you kill them. Hehe, killing one is enough. Wang Xian shook his head. With a wave of his arm, he pulled Ling Jian over from afar. Wang Xian. Looking at Wang Xian, Ling Jian's face was filled with worry. She wanted to reach out her hand, but after looking at Lan Qingyu, she still didn't have the courage. Qingyu, protect her well. Wang Xian spoke to Lan Qingyu as he slowly looked at the Supreme Headmaster and Patriarch Fengkai in the sky. Qingyu, help me stop the Supreme Headmaster. I will kill another person. Wang Xian spoke in a deep voice with a face full of killing intent. It's Xiao Xian. Don't worry. Lan Qingyu nodded with a gloomy face. She could already sense Wang Xian's determination. She could also sense that the blood essence in his body was disappearing rapidly. Even though she knew that Wang Xian could still be resurrected in the Dragon Palace, her heart was still filled with anger. The aura of a powerhouse was completely released. Wu. Sensing the murderous aura of Wang Xian and Lan Qingyu, a savage aura spread out from Xiaolan's body. Haha, today, I, Wang Xian, will definitely lose my life in your sect. However, before I lose my life, I will also take one of you with me. I will also cause your sect to suffer heavy losses. I will make you pay a heavy price for what you have done. Wang Xian stared at the supreme sect leader and Elder Feng Kai. A maniacal smile appeared on his face as the killing intent from his body surged rapidly. Today, we will collect some interest. Soon, I, Lan Qingyu, will exterminate your sect. Lan Qingyu stood beside Wang Xian and shouted with a similarly cold gaze. Lunatic. This lunatic. He is a complete lunatic. When the Supreme Headmaster, Elder Fengkai, and everyone from the sect heard what Wang Xian and Lan Qingyu said, their faces turned extremely ugly. This was especially so for Wang Xian's determination to die. Even if he was injured, he had to take one of them with him. If he wasn't a madman, he definitely wouldn't do such a thing. The heavenly demon fruit has really used a taboo. Once it is used, one might die. That should be the case. The heavenly demons are really crazy. They are completely risking their lives. If the heavenly demons don't die today, they will be the strongest force in the vast region in the future. Voices of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. Haha, kill. At this moment, a wild voice filled with killing intent could be heard. Roar. Wang Xian immediately transformed into a 150-meter-long 5 elements divine dragon and attacked Patriarch Fengkai directly. Kill. Lan Qingyu grabbed Ling Jian's hand and roared furiously as well. Woo woo woo. A terrifying roar came out of Xiaolan's mouth. Sensing its master's fury, its huge body charged towards the Supreme Headmaster. Fengkai, be careful. The Supreme Headmaster looked at the Sky Demon and the Barbarian Goddess with an extremely embarrassed expression and roared loudly. The battle erupted once again. However, this time, it was a one-on-one battle. Great grinding of the 5 elements, annihilate. Wang Xian roared and locked onto Patriarch Fengkai completely. Now that Patriarch Feng Kai was injured, his strength was less than half. Wang Xian was also injured. However, he was confident that he could kill Patriarch Feng Kai before he was injured. Bastard, bastard. Patriarch Feng Kai looked at Wang Xian, who was charging at him with a hint of fear in his eyes. This sky fiend wanted to perish together with him. However, he didn't want to die. Buzz. Streams of destructive energy swept past. Wang Xian's body charged towards Patriarch Feng Kai. Save me. When Patriarch Feng Kai saw how desperate the sky fiend was, he immediately fled into the distance and shouted at the Supreme Headmaster. Get lost. The Supreme Headmaster had no time to bother with Patriarch Feng Kai. Looking at Xiao Lan, who was charging towards him, he waved his arm. Terrifying wind spears attacked Little Blue's body. The wind spears entered Little Blue's body, but they only broke through a dozen meters deep. Compared to its 10,000 meters long and 2,000 meters wide body, this injury was negligible. What a terrifying defense. Even when I was at my peak, it was difficult to kill it. The Supreme Headmaster's face darkened when he saw the wounds on Xiaolan's body. If you want to escape, stay here. Bind him. Wang Xian's cold voice came from the side. The 5 elements millstone came to the sky above Patriarch Feng Kai. The strongest binding force of the 5 elements trapped him. His body rushed over and grabbed at him with his sharp dragon claws. Chapter 1610. 1610 World Shaking 3. I'm going to fight it out with you. When Patriarch Feng Kai saw Wang Xian's devouring gaze, a look of despair appeared on his face. Green light seeped out from his entire body and he raised the huge fan in his hand high up. Feathers gathered on the fan and flew towards Wang Xian heavily. The wind feathers that were like thorns instantly covered an area of 10 kilometers. Patriarch Feng Kai unleashed his strongest attack without holding back. At this stage, he could only go all out. This is more interesting. The appearance of Lan Qingyu made Wang Xian completely relaxed. Next, he only had to go all out to kill Patriarch Feng Kai. Then, he would succeed. Wang Xian's dragon claws contained a grayish energy. His body completely ignored Feng Yu's attack. Countless feathers landed on Wang Xian's dragon body, causing his entire body to be drenched in blood. However, he did not resist at all. Instead, he placed all his strength on his dragon claws. You're a lunatic, you're a lunatic. The elder looked at Wang Xian's determination with extreme fear on his face. He could not understand why a young demon would want to go against his old bones. You still have 4,000 to 5,000 years of life left. Why would you want to go against someone like me who only has a few hundred years of life left? Go to hell. Wang Xian roared with a ferocious look on his face. He clawed at Patriarch Feng Kai's body with his dragon claws. Go to hell, too. Crippled wind slash. Patriarch Feng Kai's face turned ferocious as well. He waved the huge fan in his hand like a ferocious ghost. A green broken sword that was at least 2,000 meters in size slashed towards Wang Xian's body. The two of them were completely carrying out their final attack. Explode. The dragon claw held onto Elder Feng Kai's body. The destructive power of the 5 elements that was brewing within it caused Elder Feng Kai's expression to change drastically. Ah! A tremendous pain came from his mouth. However, at the spot above Wang Xian, the huge wind slash caused his dragon body to be cut in half. Ha ha ha, I, Wang Xian, will return again. Next time, the entire vast area will be under my feet. Wang Xian could feel his vitality disappearing rapidly. When he saw that Patriarch Feng Kai in front of him was completely dead, he laughed out loud. His body fell towards the spot below. Xiao Xian. Seeing that Wang Xian was injured, Lan Qingyue's eyes turned slightly red. Wang Xian. Ling Jian cried out in pain instantly. Buzz buzz buzz. Lan Qingyu waved her arm with an embarrassed expression. The 5 elements in the sky turned into a crown of 5 elements and flew into her hand. Wang Xian's dragon body was directly stored into the interspatial ring. Xiao Lan, destroy. Lan Qingyu roared furiously. Even though she knew that Wang Xian could be resurrected, she was still extremely furious when she saw her beloved being killed. Woo woo woo. Xiao Lan let out a roar. Her gigantic body was like a meteorite crashing into a planet, crashing downwards. Her body was emitting a grayish energy. Boom, boom, boom. A series of explosions could be heard. The entire Lone Mountain range had 108 mountains, each of which was 10,000 meters in size. However, under Little Blue's impact, they were like small saplings as they quickly collapsed. Foam Kai. Patriarch Foam Kai. Patriarch. However, when the supreme sect leader of the Lone Sect, all the experts and disciples saw Patriarch Feng's death, they also roared in fear. Damn it, barbarian goddess, stop. The supreme sect leader looked extremely embarrassed when he saw Xiao Lan's terrifying destructive power. The entire supreme sect was the foundation and base of the supreme sect for tens of thousands of years. This was a terrifying paradise for wind attribute cultivators. Because of the existence of these green mountains, the supreme sect was able to produce an endless stream of experts. However, once the place where the sect was established was destroyed, their foundation would lose 70 to 80%. In particular, there was also the death of a 9th-level profound void tier sect's guardian expert. However, facing the savage beast-like Little Blue, the supreme sect leader didn't dare to face her head-on. With this 10,000-meter-long body, firm defense, and terrifying strength, who at the same level could withstand it? The supreme headmaster could only continue to attack from the side. It's over, it's over. Our sect's losses this time are too great. Why would our sect provoke such a person? If young Master Ao Tian didn't fight with the Sky Demon for the woman, our sect wouldn't be in such a miserable state. Looking at the fall of Patriarch Foam Kai and the destructive power of the savage beast, all the disciples and powerhouses of the sect were terrified. At this moment, they didn't have the slightest aura of being the supreme sect. After today, their supreme sect would become the weakest among the 3 superforces. Moreover, outside, they even had 2 mortal enemies of the 9th level of the profound void tier. Mo Sha and the Savage Goddess. Savage Goddess, if you dare to destroy again, then don't even think about leaving today. The supreme sect leader saw that 80 to 90 of the 108 mountains had collapsed. His face was blood red as he roared. At this moment, his hair was disheveled and he looked wretched and ferocious. Supreme sect leader, do you really think that I'm afraid of you? Lan Qingyu stared at the supreme sect leader and shouted with a frosty expression. Madam Devil, quit while you're ahead. Let's go. At this moment, Mo Sha, who was fighting with Nangong Jianghe, suddenly felt a pain in his heart. He was shocked and quickly said, "Huh." Lan Qingyu hesitated for a moment and stared at the supreme headmaster coldly. She slowly glanced at everyone around her. Listen up, my sect. We will return soon and completely destroy you, she said with a cold expression. Little Blue. With a light shout, Little Blue stopped and slowly opened her huge mouth. Madam Mo, wait for me. Mo Sha hurriedly came to Lan Qingyu's side. Lan Qingyu looked at Mo Sha and looked coldly at everyone in front of her. A black hole appeared in the sky out of thin air. Woo woo. Little Blue cried out as her huge mouth enveloped Lan Qingyu, Ling Jian and Mo Sha within. The 10,000-meter-long body slowly entered the black hole. It's too terrifying. The Sky Devil has fallen, Patriarch Foam Kai of our sect has fallen, and the entire sect has been reduced to ruins. Heavens! The curtain has fallen. Who would have thought that such a situation would occur? Heavens, 2 of the strongest experts in the vast region have fallen. Today's battle is destined to shake the entire vast region. Sky Devil and Mo Sha, Lone Sect, Southern Royal Family, the Wilderness Goddess. Looking at the black hole that was slowly disappearing, all the factions were extremely shocked. Chapter 1611. 1611 World Shaking 4. The Fall of the Sky Demon. The Fall of Patriarch Foam Kai. With the fall of 2 top-notch experts and the intervention of the barbarian goddess, more than half of the land where the sect was established was destroyed. Everything that happened today would definitely shake the entire vast region. Brother Wang Xian said that he will return. Is he still alive? At the He clan's position, He Yuan looked at the sky where the black hole had disappeared and mumbled. This is impossible. Wang Xian has indeed lost all his life force. Even a powerhouse in the realm of longevity would not be able to resurrect under such circumstances. The He clan's elder shook his head and sighed slightly. The lone sect thought that they were very powerful and killed nearly 100,000 people who were cured by Priest Wang. In the end, they didn't expect that Priest Wang would be so crazy, fighting with their lives. This time, the cult of solipsism suffered a terrible loss. A young master of Ao Tien wanted to fight for a woman, causing the entire cult of solipsism to fall into a crisis. How ironic. The southern royal family is really miserable. They also got involved in this mess. Unfortunately, they failed to get what they wanted. Hundreds of experts and core disciples of the southern royal family were killed. The people of the Wuji Empire were chatting with smiles on their faces. They were very happy to see the strength of the southern royal family and the solipsistic sect weakened. As they spoke, they swept their eyes across the entire solipsistic sect and left. Let's go. If the sky demon really falls, just as the wilderness goddess said, she will come back to take revenge. If she provokes an expert like the wilderness goddess who has a mysterious energy, the life of the solipsistic sect will not be easy in the future. Some factions hesitated for a moment. They looked at the ruined sect and left immediately. After today, our sect's strength would be greatly reduced. 2 powerful warriors from the Array sect had fallen, and they had also provoked the powerful goddess of desolation. There was a high chance that our sect would fall in the future. All the factions left, leaving behind a few 100,000 disciples from our sect. The supreme sect leader's face was gloomy as he floated in the sky, breathing heavily as he looked at the collapsed peaks. The main peak had also collapsed, leaving only 20 peaks standing in the distance. Bing Fa Wu and Bing Jing Huan stood there in a daze, their eyes a little dazed. Their Icy Heart Empire wanted to obtain more benefits by marrying Ling Jian to the lone sect. In the end, the Ice Heart Empire was destroyed. Originally, they still had hope of reviving their empire by relying on the Soul Heart sect. Now, even their backer, the Soul Heart sect that they had always wanted to curry favor with, had been completely wiped out by the Sky Demon. If it was back then. It was a pity that it wasn't back then. It's over, it's completely over. They knew that the Soul Heart sect no longer cared about them. The Ice Heart Empire was finished, and they were also completely finished. It's all young Master Ao Tien's fault. If it wasn't for him. This voice sounded again around the only sect. If it wasn't for young Master Ao Tien's lust for beauty and forcefully taking Priest Wang's lover away, things wouldn't have fallen to such a state. At the side, Ao Tien's body trembled when he heard this, and his expression was extremely unsightly. Because of a woman, it almost destroyed the only sect. Madam Devil, why do I feel my heart beating rapidly, as if it is trying to break free from my body? I, Mo Shaw, don't want to die. Hurry and go to the God Country ruins. Boss Devil has arranged for his men to wait for me there. My heart is still there. At this moment, Mo Shaw, who had followed Lan Qingyu, screamed in fear when he passed through the black hole and appeared 10,000 meters away. During the battle earlier, he had told Lan Qingyu to leave as soon as possible because of this reason. The heart of light and darkness seemed to be about to break free from his body and fly away. Fuck, if he flew away, wouldn't he die? This made Mo Shaw almost cry. What arrangements does little Xian have? Lan Qingyu asked Mo Shaw expressionlessly. Boss Mo originally ordered me to bring Miss Jian to the God Country ruins after his death and then escort them to the Flowing Sea region. Once the mission is completed, Boss Mo will return the heart and give me my freedom. Now, Madam Boss Mo, what do you think? Mo Shaw said to Lan Qingyu with a bitter face. Let's go. Lan Qingyu nodded and targeted the God Country ruins. Look, what's that in the sky? Did something happen inside the ruins of the Divine Kingdom? When the black hole appeared in the sky above the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, some people felt the impact of a barbaric aura and looked shocked. Disciples of the Dragon Palace, come here quickly. Little Blue's huge figure slowly appeared. Lan Qingyu floated in Little Blue's mouth and shouted at the people below. It's the Dragon Queen. In a manner in the Divine Kingdom, all the members of the Dragon Palace raised their heads and looked at Little Blue in the sky. Their eyes flashed with a bright light. Dragon Queen? It seems to be, It seems to be the wilderness goddess. Sect leader Ling also raised his head. When he saw the black hole in the sky and the terrifying giant beast, his face was filled with shock. Sect leader Ling, it's our dragon queen. We'll go over immediately. The civil officials of the Dragon Palace shouted at sect leader Ling and immediately flew into the sky. I know. That's the wilderness goddess. That giant beast is the wilderness goddess giant beast. What a powerful giant beast. This is too powerful. What is that black hole? Shocked voices rang out in the surroundings. Everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom looked towards the sky. Jian-er. Sect Master Ling flew into the sky and saw Ling Jian-er's figure. His face revealed an excited expression. Greetings, Dragon Empress. All the members of the Dragon Palace flew into the sky and immediately bowed towards Lan Qingyu. Return to the Dragon Palace, Lan Qingyu said, and a black hole appeared in front of her. Madam Devil, give me back my heart first. Mo Sha held his chest and said with a bitter face. Buzz. At this moment, Little Blue entered the black hole and disappeared, leaving everyone in the God Country ruins with shocked faces. She reappeared more than 10,000 kilometers away. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. My heart belongs to Madam Mo. It wants to run now. Quick, give me my heart. Madam Mo, please, Mo Sha shouted loudly. Lan Qingyu looked at the members of the Dragon Palace. Dig out our Dragon King's heart. This heart is for you. Ao Yarrow took out Mo Sha's heart and handed it to him. Okay. Mo Sha gritted his teeth and looked at his heart with a dark face. He closed his eyes and dug it out. Buzz. After the heart of light and darkness was dug out, it flew toward the Dragon Palace in the Liuhai region. Lan Qingyu stared at the heart that flew away with a smile on her face. My task has been completed. Can I leave now? Seeing that his heart was back, Mo Sha heaved a sigh of relief and said, Yes. Ao Yarrow nodded and returned the heart to him according to the order of the Dragon King. Chapter 1612. 1612 entered the vast region. Keek, I've finally recovered. I've finally been free. It's been more than 1,000 years, a whole 1,000 years. I came here from the Empire. I originally wanted to find a way to break through the longevity realm, but I've been trapped here for more than 1,000 years. Keek, but my efforts have not let me down. Although I've been thinking about how to get the heart these past few days and haven't found a way, I've found a way to cultivate from within. Keek, relying on that heart's understanding of darkness, I have at least increased by dozens of times. Long life can be extended, long life can be extended. In the vast and boundless void, Mo Sha saw the huge beast leave. His face revealed an excited expression as he laughed wildly. More than 1,000 years of pain, in exchange for his strength rising to another level. It was completely worth it. Keek, next, I will stand at the peak of the extraordinary continent. He flew into the distance with excitement. In the vast void of the vast continent, Little Blue led Lan Qingyu and the others as they quickly headed towards the flowing sea region. Every 10 seconds, they would travel tens of thousands of kilometers. A journey of hundreds of thousands of kilometers did not require too much time for them. In fact, if they kept using it, they would be able to arrive in a few minutes. However, Xiaolan's ability could not be used consecutively. It would take a few hours to recover after using it 10 times. At this moment, when Wang Xian was injured, the entire Dragon Palace could sense it completely. The expressions of all the members of the Dragon Palace changed drastically. Guan Shuqing, Xiao Yu, and the other girls gathered in the Dragon King Hall with anxious expressions. They looked at a fruit on the soul-returning wood with a worried expression. The fruit was in the shape of a dragon, and it was emitting a powerful energy. All the leaders of the Dragon Palace were gathered in front. Prime Minister Gui, what should we do now? Quickly resurrect Xiaoxian, the girls said to Prime Minister Gui with anxious expressions. Reporting to the Dragon Queen, according to my investigation, the Dragon King has reached the 4th level of the Profound Void Martial stage, and is comparable to an expert at the 8th level of the Profound Void Martial stage. The energy required to resurrect the Dragon King is too huge. There is not enough energy in the Dragon Pool to support His Majesty the Dragon King's rebirth. Prime Minister Gui said with a slightly embarrassed expression. Then what should we do? Let's go look for Sister Feng Luan. She should have a lot of resources in her hands. I have already informed Sister Feng Luan. She is rushing over quickly. A few girls said anxiously. My sisters, what happened to Wang Xian? At this moment, Feng Luan, who was wearing a fiery red phoenix robe and a crown on her head, flew over quickly. She asked anxiously. Sister Feng Luan, Xiao Xian has fallen outside. She needs a huge amount of resources to revive. Guan Shuqing and the other girls walked over immediately and said with slightly red eyes. Fallen? Feng Luan's expression changed slightly and a hint of anger flashed in her eyes. How many resources do you need? I'll use the resources of the entire Dragon and Phoenix Empire to revive Wang Xian as soon as possible, Feng Luan said immediately. Swoosh. Just as they were conversing, the heart of light and darkness suddenly flew into the Dragon Palace. The heart came to the top of the dragon pool at a terrifying speed and floated quietly on it. What's that? Everyone in the Dragon Palace was slightly shocked and quickly looked at the heart of light and darkness. There's the aura of a little immortal on it. The girls sensed and exclaimed. The heart, that should be the Dragon King's heart. We should gather resources now and prepare for the Dragon King's resurrection, Prime Minister Gui immediately said. Feng Luan didn't hesitate and immediately notified him. In an instant, the entire Dragon and Phoenix Empire started to operate. The current flowing sea region, which was more than 200,000 kilometers wide, was completely ruled by the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. A single order from Feng Luan could decide the life and death of tens of billions of people. Buzz. Reporting to the Dragon Queen, reporting to Prime Minister Gui, a terrifying giant beast has suddenly appeared. There's a familiar aura on it. 2 hours later, the Yaksha's anxious voice sounded. Sisters. Lan Qingyue's voice sounded. It's the Dragon Queen. Put away your weapons. Greetings, Dragon Queen. The Yaksha's voice came from the sea. It's Qingyu. Qingyu is back. The girls in the Dragon Palace were surprised and immediately looked up. What a huge body. Is this Xiaolan? A huge figure appeared in the sky above the Dragon Palace. The girls looked at Xiaolan with shock on their faces. This aura. Feng Luan's pupils constricted slightly as she stared at Xiaolan with a serious face. 9th level of the Void Interpretation Realm. I didn't expect Xiaolan to reach the 9th level of the Void Interpretation Realm less than 3 years after Sister Qingyu left. She took a deep breath and looked shocked. Because of the Dragon Pond, Feng Luan had already reached 7th level Void Interpretation. After transforming into a phoenix, she could fight against 9th level Void Interpretation. But she had reincarnated and recultivated. Hey! Miss Jen and Sect Master Ling, Ao Yao and Ao Jian are also here. Prime Minister Gui looked over and showed a trace of surprise. Sisters, let's catch up later. Xiao Xian has already prepared the resources that he needs to be resurrected before he dies. I have also collected her body. Lan Qingyu entered the Dragon Palace and immediately walked towards the Dragon Pool. That's great. Let's go there immediately. The group of girls immediately walked towards the Dragon Pool. Ao Jian and Ao Yao flew over and placed all the resources in front of the Dragon Pool to be absorbed. At the same time, Prime Minister Gui plucked Wang Xian's soul-returning fruit and placed it into the Dragon Pool. Dragon Blood, Soul-Returning Fruit, Heart of Light and Darkness, 5 Elements Crown. Finally, Wang Xian's dragon body was placed into the Dragon Pool. Buzz. In an instant, a strong energy gathered in the Dragon Pool. 5 elements power, light and darkness power. Phew, these resources should be enough for little immortal to recover completely. Lan Qingyu heaved a heavy sigh of relief. Other than the 5 elemental powers, why does Wang Xian have the powers of light and darkness? What exactly happened? With Wang Xian's current strength, he should be a top-notch expert even in the vast region. Feng Luan stood at the side and said with a frown. I don't know much. It was purely an accident that I met little Xian. Lan Qingyu shook her head and looked at Ao Jian. Dragon Queen. Ao Jian cupped his hands and told her everything he knew. The southern royal family of my sect. Anger appeared in the girls' eyes when they heard Ao Jian's words. It seems that it's time to march into the vast area, Feng Luan murmured with a hint of killing intent in her eyes. The Dragon Palace's development speed in the flowing sea area has slowed down. The vast area is a good choice. Prime Minister Gui narrowed his eyes and glanced at all the leaders of the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Queens. With the Blue-Green Moon Dragon Queen and the Phoenix Emperor, their arrival in the vast area was intimidating. Chapter 1613. 1613 entered the vast area. Prime Minister Gui, how is the strength of the Dragon Palace now? If the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace join forces, can we establish a foothold? In front of the Dragon Pond, all the leaders of the Dragon Palace were standing around. Feng Luan glanced at all the disciples of the Dragon Palace and asked Prime Minister Gui. In the Dragon Palace, there are 3 people with rank 8 Void Interpretation, 7 with rank 7 Void Interpretation, 20 with rank 6 Void Interpretation, 30 with rank 5 Void Interpretation, 50 with rank 4 Void Interpretation, 2,000 with rank 3 Void Interpretation, and about 5,000 with rank 2 Void Interpretation, Prime Minister Gui said. The current Dragon Palace had more than 17,000 members. After ruling the Flowing Sea region, the demonic Lin clan joined and turned into the Fire Phoenix Dragon Seed, adding many experts to the Dragon Palace. The 2 leaders of the Fire Phoenix Dragon Seed, in particular, had a cultivation base of level 6 of the Profound Void tier. Now that they had broken through to level 7 of the Profound Void tier, they had the combat strength of level 8 of the Profound Void tier. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace, including Lan Qingyu, they were definitely a superforce in the vast area. Especially the number of experts at the Profound Void martial stage in the Dragon Palace had reached more than 7,000. There were only 5,000 to 6,000 experts at the Profound Void martial stage in the Lone Sect, the Wuji Empire, and the Southern Royal Family. There are 4,000 to 5,000 experts at the Profound Void martial stage in the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, but there aren't any at rank 8 of the Profound Void martial stage yet. There are only 1 or 2 at rank 7 of the Profound Void martial stage including me, Feng Luan said to Prime Minister Gui. There were so many Profound Void realm experts in the current Dragon and Phoenix Empire, and most of them came from the Demon Beast clan. The entire Flowing Sea region, including the Sea region, had an area of more than 300,000 kilometers. 4,000 to 5,000 Profound Void realm experts weren't a lot. Moreover, only about half of these 4,000 to 5,000 Profound Void realm experts belonged to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. The rest belonged to the various great clans and sects. Because the period of rule was too short, there was no guarantee that they would have 100% loyalty. It's enough. Let's first form the Vanguard battle team. Prime Minister Gui nodded and said thoughtfully, according to the information in the vast area, the Dragon King once destroyed an empire in the vast area. At this time, that empire has not been occupied by anyone. We can temporarily occupy that empire and use it as a base to prepare for ruling the entire vast area. Feng Luan nodded when she heard Prime Minister Gui's words. If we want to occupy that place, we might need Sister Qingyue's help. Yes, only with the Dragon Queen's help can we smoothly occupy it and intimidate the other forces. Prime Minister Gui nodded and looked at Lan Qingyu. Okay. Lan Qingyu looked at them and nodded. Then she turned to the Dragon Pond. I wonder when little Xian will be able to resurrect. The resurrection of the Dragon King may take a few months. During this time, we should make some preparations. It's best if we march into the vast area after the Dragon King resurrect. Feng Luan also looked at the dragon pool. She sighed and said slowly. Prime Minister Gui also nodded his head. The Dragon King was the backbone of the entire Dragon Palace. Although Prime Minister Gui had great authority, there were still some matters that required the Dragon King's presence. Even now, Feng Luan had unknowingly treated Wang Xian as a pillar of support and backbone. All the leaders of the Dragon Palace were standing in front of the dragon pool, waiting for the resurrection of the Dragon King. Guan Shuqing and the rest had been chatting with Ling Jian. They talked about Ling Jian's past and how Wang Xian had set foot in the vast region in order to find her. Although Ling Jian had completely forgotten about everyone, She gradually understood that she had forgotten about her past because she had cultivated the heartless sword principle. She began to accept everything and her father. When Guan Shuqing and the rest saw Ling Jian'er's appearance, they heaved a sigh of relief. I've fallen. Am I being resurrected in the dragon pool now? Time passed slowly. A month later, Wang Xian's soul gradually fluctuated. He sensed the energy around him and heaved a sigh of relief. It took him a month to recover a little from his fall this time. The stronger he was, the longer it would take for him to resurrect. His soul sensed something and he immediately began to condense his body. Buzz buzz, buzz buzz. At this moment, he felt 3 items move in the dragon pool. One was the 5 elements crown, one was the light and dark dragon pearl, and the other was the heart of light and dark. Especially the heart of light and dark, it came directly to his heart. The light and dark on the heart of light and dark has reached a balance. This is a good opportunity to merge them. Wang Xian sensed the 2 dragon pearls, the heart of light and dark, and moved slightly. As the saying goes, if one does not break, one will not stand. If one breaks, one will stand. This death was actually an opportunity for him. Once the heart of light and dark is completely merged, I will be able to master the 5 elements and the power of light and dark. When that time comes, my strength will be able to rise another level, Wang Xian thought to himself. With 7 attributes in his body, with his cultivation of the 4th level of the see-through realm, he would be able to kill the 9th level of the see-through realm. Fighting someone who was 5 levels above him was definitely a terrifying existence. Even the 5 elements Dragon King and the Light and Darkness Dragon King of the Divine Dragon Clan back then did not have the strength of Wang Xian, who was able to fight someone who was 5 levels above him. Thinking about how his strength could increase again, Wang Xian immediately fused the heart of light and darkness. Time flew by quickly. A month passed once again. What's going on? 2 months have passed. Why hasn't Xiao Xian formed her dragon body yet? Around the dragon pool, Guan Shuqing, Lan Sunling, and the rest were looking at the dragon pool anxiously. They were frowning. Reporting to the Dragon King should be fusing with the heart of light and darkness. Therefore, it took a long time. Ao Yarrow had a better understanding of the heart of light and darkness, so he reported to them. Then, how long will it take to fuse? The group of girls frowned and asked. Please rest assured, Dragon Queen, the Dragon King will not be in danger. As for when he can be completely resurrected, Ao Yarrow doesn't know. Ao Yarrow shook his head. Prime Minister Gui, the resurrection of Little Immortal should take at least half a year or more. Let's go into the vast region first. Without Little Immortal, we can also make the Southern Royal Family of Solitaire sect pay the price. Feng Luan frowned and said to Prime Minister Gui, Dragon Queens, what do you think? Prime Minister Gui looked at Lan Qingyu, Guan Shuqing, and the others and asked. Such a big matter still needed the Dragon Queen's approval. Okay, we can't rely on Little Immortal for everything. Now that Qingyue's strength has greatly increased, we are not weak either. During the time when Little Immortal is resurrected, we will take revenge for Little Immortal. The group of girls nodded their heads with frosty expressions without any hesitation. All right, then our Dragon Palace will send out a batch of forces and head to the vast area tomorrow. Prime Minister Gui immediately gave the order. While the Dragon Palace and the Dragon and Phoenix Empire were preparing to march into the vast area, Wang Xian was resurrected in the Dragon Pool. However, great changes had also taken place on Earth. Chapter 1614. 1614 Earth underwent a huge change in 1614. Earth. Ever since the supernatural continent was connected to Earth and the spiritual energy entered the Earth, the entire Earth underwent a huge change. This change was known as the spiritual energy recovery. After the spiritual energy recovery, the entire Earth entered an era of cultivation. Powerful forces and martial arts schools rose one after another. The gods in the west and the immortals in the east ruled the entire Earth. However, while the spiritual energy was recovering, the master of the ocean, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, suppressed the world for an entire lifetime, annihilated the strongest person on Earth, and ascended to the highest position. During those years, the entire Earth revered the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King as the Emperor. All the major forces submitted, and all the powerful people bent their knees. After the Dragon King's sister got married, the entire Dragon Palace and the Dragon King completely went into hiding. In the next few years, there were no more stories about the Dragon King and the Dragon Palace. The abundance of spiritual energy caused great changes to occur on Earth every day. Martial arts improved by leaps and bounds, and everyone practiced martial arts. Even in the next few years, everyone on Earth was shocked to find that the Earth was slowly growing larger. Some people guessed that this was because the Earth had absorbed spiritual energy and was slowly growing and evolving. In the past month, the entire Earth had undergone the most shocking change in history. In the eastern sky, a sky city that was over 10,000 kilometers long appeared. It was called the Lingxiao Palace, also known as the Heavenly Court. It had the same name as the Lingxiao Palace and the Heavenly Court in Chinese mythology, but it was completely different. The sudden appearance of a sky city that was over 10,000 kilometers long shook the entire world. You are a heaven's favorite, so why don't you ride the wind to the 9 heavens? The Lingxiao Palace will descend to Earth, and the Heavenly Court will open wide to recruit disciples. Those who enter the Heavenly Court will be ranked on the God Ascension list, and everyone will be able to become a god. A voice suddenly resounded throughout the entire Earth, and everyone revealed shocked expressions. Oh my God, what is this? Has the mythological era arrived? What a terrifying sky city. The Lingxiao Palace? The Heavenly Court? What is this situation? What force is this? Why does it give me a suffocating feeling? Hiss, the Lingxiao Palace? The Heavenly Court? Is it as powerful as the Dragon Palace? Is it as powerful as the Dragon King? The Dragon King can't even be compared to it, right? This aura is too terrifying. Oh my God, a city tens of thousands of kilometers in the sky. Is this the real God? Everyone on Earth and the entire eastern continent raised their heads in shock and looked up. What a terrifying aura. Even Master doesn't have such an aura. Earth has undergone a huge change. I wonder where Master is. The strongest person in the Yellow Heaven Immortal sect, the #1 immortal sect on Earth, looked up at the Heavenly Court and muttered. The Holy Church will envelop the world and divine light will descend. The light of the God of Light will envelop the world. The Holy Church will recruit disciples. Those who join our Holy Church will obtain eternal life. After the voice from the soaring heavens palace sounded, a huge mountain of light appeared in the sky in the west. A voice filled with divine light resounded throughout the Western world. The voice spread throughout the earth and the world was once again shocked. The Fire God Palace, the fire of the equator. All living beings, ignite the divine fire and attain the divine position. If you want to become a god, join our Fire God Palace. Above the equator, a group of palaces appeared under the brilliant sun. A palace emitting a divine flame descended. The voice also resounded throughout the entire earth. Ha ha. However, this was not the end. A wild voice resounded throughout the entire earth. The 5 lakes and 4 seas are all the land of the sea god. What Dragon King, what Dragon Palace? In front of me, they are nothing but ants. An arrogant voice echoed across the entire earth. At this moment, a burly man was floating in the sky above the ocean. Behind him, there was a huge ocean. Countless people stood proudly in the ocean and looked at their god with respect. Such trash dares to call himself the master of the ocean, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? Ha ha, kill him. The burly middle-aged man held the trident in his hand and stared at the bottom of the ocean with his blue eyes. At the bottom of the ocean, a level 1 dragon palace that occupied a 10-kilometer radius was lying there quietly. In the Dragon Palace, the civil officials and some members who had entered the Dragon Palace looked at the sky in shock. The burly middle-aged man lightly moved the trident in his hand, and the trident that covered a 20-kilometer radius directly attacked the bottom of the ocean. Boom! A terrifying explosion sounded, and the entire earth seemed to tremble. Ha ha, what Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, casually wiped out. The burly middle-aged man laughed and looked down at the entire ocean. I am the sea god, a cultivator of the water element. I can pass the test and join my divine sea. One voice after another spread across the entire earth. When everyone on earth heard the sea god's words, Their faces were filled with shock. What? The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace was destroyed by the sea god. That terrifying attack spread across tens of thousands of kilometers. Oh my god, the Dragon Palace seemed to be destroyed by the sea god's attack. This is the true god. The Dragon King is simply worlds apart from him. Why did so many terrifying forces descend on Earth? Could it be because of the recovery of spiritual energy? Next, Earth will enter the mythical generation. Everyone can become a god. I want to join the heavenly court and enter the god ascension list. Become a god and live forever. Haha, our opportunity has come. I want to join a powerful force and become an invincible god. Countless people on Earth were talking about it. Everyone's eyes were filled with shock and strong desire. In just a short day, the entire Earth had undergone terrifying changes. The Dragon Palace had been destroyed, and the Dragon King was suspected to have been destroyed. One by one, forces capable of transcending the universe had descended upon Earth. Earth had begun to enter the mythical era. An era where everyone could become a god. Ding! Earth's first-class Dragon Palace has been destroyed. All the members of the Dragon Palace have died. In the Dragon Palace in the Liuhai region, Wang Xian, who was completely fusing with the heart of light and darkness, suddenly heard a voice from the system. Hey! What's going on? How could the Dragon Palace on Earth be destroyed? Wang Xian was shocked. After the Dragon Palace was relocated to the Transcendence continent, the system left behind a Level 1 Dragon Palace on Earth. Although the Level 1 Dragon Palace was low, there were more than a dozen experts left in the Dragon Palace. These experts were almost invincible existences on Earth. How could the Dragon Palace be destroyed now? Did something happen on Earth? Forget it. I'll return to Earth to take a look after I settle the extraordinary continent. Wang Xian thought to himself. There were too few resources on Earth. With the current strength of the Dragon Palace, returning to Earth would restrict their development. He would prepare to return to Earth after dominating the entire extraordinary continent. After all, Earth was Wang Xian's home. I wonder which reckless force dared to destroy the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian mumbled. Very soon, he continued to immerse himself in the heart of light and darkness. Chapter 1615. 1615. The War of 1615 was about to begin. Currently, Wang Xian was in the stage of resurrection. According to his estimation, it would take him at least 1 year to resurrect. During this 1 year, he couldn't do anything. Therefore, even if the Dragon Palace on Earth was destroyed, he couldn't do anything about it. Everyone, get ready to head to the vast region. Outside the Dragon Palace, there was once a demi-human cemetery. Now, it was the capital of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Luan floated in the sky and looked down. 100,000 people lined up neatly. Among them, there were more than 1,000 experts at the profound void realm. Mount the giant Kuan. Woo-woo. A sky-shaking whistle sounded. At the seaside, Xiao Lan's enormous body slowly flew over. Hiss. Everyone in the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City, including the soldiers and generals who were ready to follow the Empress to fight in the vast area, were shocked. Is this the power of the Dragon Palace? This giant beast is the pet of one of the Dragon King's wives. It's too terrifying. My legs are trembling. Everyone in the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City looked at the sky in shock. Over 4,000 members of the Dragon Palace were standing on top of the 10,000-meter-long body of Little Blue. Leading them were Lan Qingyu, Guan Shuqing, and the other girls. Apart from them, Prime Minister Gui had also made an appearance. Behind them was Ao Chitian, who was holding the golden ocean pacifying needle in his hand and had a furious expression on his face. Ao Jian, who held a golden long sword in his hand and had an emotionless gaze. Mao Zesen, who held a longbow in his hand and had long and elegant arms. Duan Jinming, the current leader of the Fire Hammer clan, and Ba Qi from the Special Department of the Poison-Making Department. Every leader and every member of the combat department rode a flaming phoenix dragon with wings. It was majestic and powerful. It was an invincible army. This time, the Dragon Palace sent 3/5 of their forces to the vast area. Go, fly up. All the soldiers and generals of the Dragon Phoenix Empire looked up at Little Blue and flew over immediately. Seeing the powerful aura of the members of the Dragon Palace from Little Blue, all of them looked reverent. The Dragon Palace is much more powerful than the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The Dragon Palace is the main force in the vast area this time. I thought that the gap between us and the Dragon Palace wasn't too big. Now it seems that the gap is too big. Fortunately, the Dragon King has a good relationship with our Phoenix Emperor. The important ministers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire glanced at the members of the Dragon Palace and said in a low voice, "Qingyu, let's go." Feng Luan nodded at Lan Qingyu and said, "Okay." Lan Qingyu nodded and said to Little Blue, "Woo." With a whistle, Little Blue carried hundreds of thousands of people and flew toward the vast area. With a body of 10,000 meters, hundreds of thousands of people didn't feel crowded at all. Because it carried hundreds of thousands of people, Little Blue couldn't use the black hole method to move quickly. But even so, with Little Blue's speed, it was still very terrifying. We want the flag of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire to be planted at the top of the vast area. At the front of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, General Mang Hong waved the huge flag of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire in the sky. He roared with excitement. "Plant it at the top of the vast region." The soldiers of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire roared with battle intent. Feng Luan smiled when she heard their roars. It had been more than 5 years since she was resurrected here. After she met Wang Xian 3 years ago, the empire that belonged to her had been developing rapidly. In the past, he had wanted to complete his revenge within a few thousand years. Now, it seemed that it wouldn't take long. On this journey, once she conquered the vast region, she would be able to establish the 6th great empire in the vast continent. The Dragon Phoenix Empire. Although I have your help, I, Feng Luan, will not drag you back. Feng Luan looked ahead with a strong sense of confidence in her eyes. Woo woo. Xiao Lan, with a body of 10,000 meters, roamed the sky. Within a 100-kilometer radius, all the demon beasts and fierce beasts retreated. In the entire transcendent continent, demon beasts and fierce beasts above the longevity realm were extremely rare. In the entire empire, experts at the longevity realm were also considered as country-guarding experts. In the previous Phoenix dynasty, there were only 5 experts at the longevity realm. Perhaps the dragon race had the highest number of experts at the longevity realm. As for how many longevity experts the dragon race had, that was unknown. That was because no one in the transcendental continent knew how strong the dragon race was. When it came to the dragon race, there were only 2 words: invincible. To the entire dragon race, the Draconid Empire could only be considered a little brother. One could imagine how powerful the dragon race was. This is all the information in the vast region. Our Dragon King has a good relationship with the He race. Once we gain a foothold, we can build a good relationship with the He race. Our relationship with the Wuji Empire is also quite good. However, if the Dragon Phoenix Empire wants to unify in the future, the Wuji Empire will have to submit to us. They might be our enemies. In addition, the ruins of the Divine Kingdom are a treasure ground in the vast region. It is rumored that if someone can control the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, they can unify the vast region and build an empire. But in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, there were countless experts from the empire, and even longevity experts, who came without success. On Xiaolan's body, Prime Minister Gui and Feng Luan exchanged the information they had obtained and said, "Right now, our first priority is to control the Iceheart Empire's imperial city and subdue all the cities in the Iceheart Imperial City." Feng Luan nodded and said, "Yes, the development of our Dragon Palace requires a large amount of resources, so I will send people into the forest of the Divine Kingdom." Prime Minister Gui and Feng Luan began to discuss the development of the Divine Kingdom. Xiao Lan flew quickly. Originally, it would take a few days for Wang Xian to cross the north-flowing sea. Now, with Xiao Lan's speed, they arrived at the edge of the vast region in less than a day. My God, what is that gigantic beast? It even covered the sky. This is the gigantic beast of the wilderness goddess. It's the gigantic beast of the wilderness goddess, the wife of the sky demon. Look, there seem to be many people on that gigantic beast. There's even a gigantic flag. What's going on? The wilderness goddess brought people to the vast area. Could it be that she's here to take revenge on the lone sect? When Xiao Lan entered the vast area, many people in the city below recognized the terrifying giant beast at a glance. When they saw the people standing on top of the giant beast, shock and horror appeared on their faces. The world-shaking battle 2 months ago had already spread throughout the vast area. The edge of the vast area was the last to know. When they heard the news here, they were all extremely shocked. That was because, according to their understanding, the Sky Demon was the expert who destroyed Atlas sect and founded the Heartless Sword Path sect. Recently, everyone was talking about the Sky Demon. During that world-shaking battle, the appearance of the Wilderness Goddess determined the defeat of Solipsistic sect and the Southern royal family. Now, the Wilderness Goddess had appeared once again. Chapter 1616. 1616. The War of 1616 was about to begin. The giant beast covered the sky and the sun. When Xiao Lan carried the members of the Dragon Palace and the people of the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the sky above the vast area, she instantly attracted the attention of everyone in the city below. Her 10,000-meter-long body and 10-kilometer-long body were still extremely eye-catching even though she was flying at a height of 10,000 meters. In addition to the world-shaking battle 2 months ago, the Sky Demon and Patriarch Feng Kai, 2 level 9 insightful Void Realm experts, had fallen. Everyone had a deeper understanding of the Wilderness Goddess. Now that the giant beast was in the sky, everyone who saw it quickly recognized that it was the Wilderness Goddess. The giant beast must have flown over from the flowing sea region. What is it doing carrying so many people? Is it taking revenge on the lone sect? Everyone recalled that the Wilderness Goddess had once said that she would come back to take revenge. Was it about to start now? If she really came to take revenge, then our sect might be in deep trouble. Some factions raised their heads and looked at the gigantic beast as it passed by at a terrifying speed. After that unprecedented battle, the reputation of our sect had fallen to its lowest point. Now, the arrival of the Wilderness Goddess signified the start of the war. The entire vast region would probably fall into chaos. Xiao Lan flew at high speed. Soon, the news of the Wilderness Goddess' high-profile return spread throughout the vast region. Your Majesty, all the cities of the Bingxian dynasty have been recovered. In 3 days, all the city lords will rush over to pay their respect. Those arrogant brats, under the intimidation of the Patriarch, will immediately flee. At this moment, within the imperial city of the Bingxian dynasty, the city walls that had been breached had been completely repaired. The glorious and huge imperial palace had not been affected by the war that destroyed the country. Although the imperial palace was slightly depressed, there were still over 10,000 people in the entire imperial palace. In the imperial palace, Bing Fa Wu sat on the dragon throne and listened to the reports from below. A faint smile appeared on his face. Dear ministers, with the Patriarch here, our Bingxian dynasty will definitely rebuild its glory. He looked down at everyone in front of him arrogantly and said in a deep voice, "It's His Majesty. We believe that the Bingxian dynasty will definitely recover its glory under His Majesty's wise and divine martial art." All the ministers immediately flattered him. "Let's withdraw from the court." Bing Jinghuan waved his hand and directly walked to the back. The destruction of the Bingxian dynasty had almost wiped out all the disciples of the royal family and the Ice Clan. However, the Iceheart dynasty still had 2 bloodlines. One was Bing Fa Wu, and the other was Bing Jinghuan. Although the Iceheart dynasty is not as glorious as it used to be, my position is above all others. Bing Jinghuan was wearing a yellow robe and a crown. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The destruction of the Iceheart dynasty had dealt a huge blow to him. Especially that unprecedented battle, it had made him feel extremely embarrassed and hopeless. Fortunately, the Sky Demon fell in the end. The lone sect had almost been reduced to ruins. The promise to help them restore their country had long been forgotten. Fortunately, there was still an ancestor. The ancestor at the 8th rank of the Void Interpretation Realm led him back to the Iceheart dynasty unwillingly. With the strength of the 8th rank of the Void Interpretation Realm, one person could suppress 100,000 kilometers. Without the Sky Demon, it would not be too difficult to regain control of the Iceheart dynasty. Although the members of the imperial family of the Ice Clan were almost extinct, the imperial city was still there, and some of its foundations were still there. The ancestor ordered people to recruit thousands of beautiful women into the imperial palace, and asked me to spread the branches and leaves of the Ice Clan. Next, the task is quite heavy, Bing Jinghuan muttered, his eyes filled with excitement. He was the only young disciple of the Ice Clan, and the throne was his, so he was the only one who could spread the branches and leaves. There were thousands of beautiful women. Even when he was a prince, he didn't have the right to directly recruit thousands of women for him to play with. Thinking of this, he felt that it wasn't a bad thing that the other members of the Ice Clan were exterminated. Why is the sky getting dark? Just as Bing Jinghuan walked out of the palace, he suddenly felt that the entire sky had become dark. He raised his head and looked up at the sky. His eyes instantly widened, and a look of panic appeared in his eyes. At the same time, in a palace in the Imperial Palace, Bing Fa Wu's expression changed drastically as he flew out and looked up at the giant beast in the sky. He clenched his fists tightly, and a look of despair appeared in his eyes. Below is the Ice Heart Imperial City, located in the center of the Ice Heart Lake. A civil official of the Dragon Palace said to Prime Minister Gui, Fengluan, and the rest. It's well organized below. Looks like someone is already managing this place. The Imperial Palace is operating. Someone should be occupying it. There's an expert at the 8th level of the see-through void tier. Fengluan looked down, and her fiery red eyes swept across the entire city. The flag of the Ice Heart Empire hasn't changed. If I'm not wrong, it should be the 9th prince and the patriarch of the Ice Heart Empire. The civil official who followed Wang Xian to the vast region said from the side. Everything is because of them. If it was not for them, little Xian would not have fallen. A hint of killing intent flashed in Lan Qingyue's eyes. Leave it to us. Buzz buzz buzz. Everyone in the city below listen up. Today, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has occupied the city. The city has been renamed the Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City. All those who refuse to obey will be killed. A cold voice sounded from the Dragon Phoenix Empire's general. The voice covered the entire Ice Heart Imperial City. 10 soldiers flew down from Little Blue's body. All the members of the Dragon Palace also rode on the Fire Phoenix Dragon Seed and looked down at the entire city. You're the ancestor of the Ice Heart Empire, aren't you? You caused our Dragon King to lose his body. Today, I'll sentence you to death. Lan Qingyu stared at Bing Fa Wu in the Imperial Palace and said with a cold expression. Hiss, as expected, it is indeed the Wilderness Goddess. What is the Dragon Phoenix dynasty? Was it the power of the Sky Demon? The Wilderness Goddess has returned once again. She is taking over our Bingshan Imperial City. Kneel down, hurry up and kneel down. The real Emperor is coming. At this moment, in the Bingshan Imperial City, when Little Blue arrived in the sky, everyone in the entire city looked up in shock. When they heard these voices, they were completely certain. The arrival of the Wilderness Goddess wasn't just that. It was very likely that the Sky Devil's forces had arrived as well. They took over the Ice Heart Imperial City and changed it to the Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City. They would also welcome the new king. Feeling the terrifying auras in the sky, the citizens of the Ice Heart Imperial City who had already been defeated once no longer had any fighting spirit. Some people even directly knelt on the ground. They knew that this time, the Ice Heart Empire would completely cease to exist. Goddess of the Wildlands, why? Bing Fa Wu's gaze stared at Lan Qingyu in the sky. His breathing was somewhat hurried, and his expression was incomparably malevolent. Flee. His blood-red eyes fiercely swept over, and his body moved as he directly fled into the distance. Many people noticed that the old ancestor of the Ice Heart dynasty was fleeing for his life. However, the moment Bing Fa Wu flew into the sky, his head flew away. You've injured our Dragon King. Do you think you can survive? Before he died, a cold voice entered his mind. In the Imperial Palace, Bing Jinghuan, who had witnessed the scene with his own eyes, collapsed to the ground. Chapter 1617. 1616. The War of 1616 was about to begin. The giant beast covered the sky and the sun. When Xiao Lan carried the members of the Dragon Palace and the people of the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the sky above the vast area, she instantly attracted the attention of everyone in the city below. Her 10,000-meter-long body and 10-kilometer-long body were still extremely eye-catching even though she was flying at a height of 10,000 meters. In addition to the world-shaking battle 2 months ago, the Sky Demon and Patriarch Feng Kai, 2 level 9 insightful Void Realm experts, had fallen. Everyone had a deeper understanding of the Wilderness Goddess. Now that the giant beast was in the sky, everyone who saw it quickly recognized that it was the Wilderness Goddess. The giant beast must have flown over from the flowing sea region. What is it doing carrying so many people? Is it taking revenge on the lone sect? Everyone recalled that the Wilderness Goddess had once said that she would come back to take revenge. Was it about to start now? If she really came to take revenge, then our sect might be in deep trouble. Some factions raised their heads and looked at the gigantic beast as it passed by at a terrifying speed. After that unprecedented battle, the reputation of our sect had fallen to its lowest point. Now, the arrival of the Wilderness Goddess signified the start of the war. The entire vast region would probably fall into chaos. Xiao Lan flew at high speed. Soon, the news of the Wilderness Goddess' high-profile return spread throughout the vast region. Your Majesty, all the cities of the Bingshan dynasty have been recovered. In 3 days, all the city lords will rush over to pay their respect. Those arrogant brats, under the intimidation of the Patriarch, will immediately flee. At this moment, within the imperial city of the Bingshan dynasty, the city walls that had been breached had been completely repaired. The glorious and huge imperial palace had not been affected by the war that destroyed the country. Although the imperial palace was slightly depressed, there were still over 10,000 people in the entire imperial palace. In the imperial palace, Bing Fa Wu sat on the dragon throne and listened to the reports from below. A faint smile appeared on his face. Dear ministers, with the Patriarch here, our Bingshan dynasty will definitely rebuild its glory. He looked down at everyone in front of him arrogantly and said in a deep voice, "It's His Majesty. We believe that the Bingshan dynasty will definitely recover its glory under His Majesty's wise and divine martial art." All the ministers immediately flattered him. "Let's withdraw from the court." Bing Jinghuan waved his hand and directly walked to the back. The destruction of the Bingshan dynasty had almost wiped out all the disciples of the royal family and the Ice Clan. However, the Iceheart dynasty still had 2 bloodlines. One was Bing Fa Wu, and the other was Bing Jinghuan. Although the Iceheart dynasty is not as glorious as it used to be, my position is above all others. Bing Jinghuan was wearing a yellow robe and a crown. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The destruction of the Iceheart dynasty had dealt a huge blow to him. Especially that unprecedented battle, it had made him feel extremely embarrassed and hopeless. Fortunately, the Sky Demon fell in the end. The lone sect had almost been reduced to ruins. The promise to help them restore their country had long been forgotten. Fortunately, there was still an ancestor. The ancestor at the 8th rank of the Void Interpretation Realm led him back to the Iceheart dynasty unwillingly. With the strength of the 8th rank of the Void Interpretation Realm, one person could suppress 100,000 kilometers. Without the Sky Demon, it would not be too difficult to regain control of the Iceheart dynasty. Although the members of the imperial family of the Ice Clan were almost extinct, the imperial city was still there, and some of its foundations were still there. The ancestor ordered people to recruit thousands of beautiful women into the imperial palace, and asked me to spread the branches and leaves of the Ice Clan. Next, the task is quite heavy, Bing Jinghuan muttered, his eyes filled with excitement. He was the only young disciple of the Ice Clan, and the throne was his, so he was the only one who could spread the branches and leaves. There were thousands of beautiful women. Even when he was a prince, he didn't have the right to directly recruit thousands of women for him to play with. Thinking of this, he felt that it wasn't a bad thing that the other members of the Ice Clan were exterminated. Why is the sky getting dark? Just as Bing Jinghuan walked out of the palace, he suddenly felt that the entire sky had become dark. He raised his head and looked up at the sky. His eyes instantly widened, and a look of panic appeared in his eyes. At the same time, in a palace in the imperial palace, Bing Fa Wu's expression changed drastically as he flew out and looked up at the giant beast in the sky. He clenched his fists tightly, and a look of despair appeared in his eyes. Below is the Ice Heart Imperial City, located in the center of the Ice Heart Lake. A civil official of the Dragon Palace said to Prime Minister Gui, Fengluan, and the rest. It's well organized below. Looks like someone is already managing this place. The Imperial Palace is operating. Someone should be occupying it. There's an expert at the 8th level of the see-through void tier. Fengluan looked down, and her fiery red eyes swept across the entire city. The flag of the Iceheart Empire hasn't changed. If I'm not wrong, it should be the 9th Prince and the Patriarch of the Iceheart Empire. The civil official who followed Wang Xian to the vast region said from the side. Everything is because of them. If it was not for them, little Xian would not have fallen. A hint of killing intent flashed in Lan Qingyue's eyes. Leave it to us. Buzz buzz buzz. Everyone in the city below listen up. Today, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has occupied the city. The city has been renamed the Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City. All those who refuse to obey will be killed. A cold voice sounded from the Dragon Phoenix Empire's general. The voice covered the entire Ice Heart Imperial City. 10 soldiers flew down from Little Blue's body. All the members of the Dragon Palace also rode on the Fire Phoenix Dragon Seed and looked down at the entire city. You're the ancestor of the Ice Heart Empire, aren't you? You caused our Dragon King to lose his body. Today, I'll sentence you to death. Lan Qingyu stared at Bing Fa Wu in the Imperial Palace and said with a cold expression. Hiss, as expected. It is indeed the Wilderness Goddess. What is the Dragon Phoenix dynasty? Was it the power of the Sky Demon? The Wilderness Goddess has returned once again. She is taking over our Bingshan Imperial City. Kneel down, hurry up and kneel down. The real Emperor is coming. At this moment, in the Bingshan Imperial City, when Little Blue arrived in the sky, everyone in the entire city looked up in shock. When they heard these voices, they were completely certain. The arrival of the Wilderness Goddess wasn't just that. It was very likely that the Sky Devil's forces had arrived as well. They took over the Ice Heart Imperial City and changed it to the Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City. They would also welcome the new king. Feeling the terrifying auras in the sky, the citizens of the Ice Heart Imperial City who had already been defeated once no longer had any fighting spirit. Some people even directly knelt on the ground. They knew that this time, the Iceheart Empire would completely cease to exist. Goddess of the Wildlands, why? Bing Fa Wu's gaze stared at Lan Qingyu in the sky. His breathing was somewhat hurried, and his expression was incomparably malevolent. Flee. His blood-red eyes fiercely swept over, and his body moved as he directly fled into the distance. Many people noticed that the old ancestor of the Iceheart dynasty was fleeing for his life. However, the moment Bing Fa Wu flew into the sky, his head flew away. You've injured our Dragon King. Do you think you can survive? Before he died, a cold voice entered his mind. In the Imperial Palace, Bing Jinghuan, who had witnessed the scene with his own eyes, collapsed to the ground. Chapter 1618. 1618 Super Forces. The strength of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire is unknown, but it is reported that the ancestor of the Bingshan dynasty, Bing Fa Wu, was killed instantly in the sky above the palace when he tried to escape. The old man named Mo Sho didn't appear. According to my guess, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has at least 2 experts at the 9th level of the Profound Void tier. It is very likely that there are 3 of them. In the Imperial Palace of the Wuji Empire, the civil and military officials had gathered together during the Mourning Dynasty. The king of the Wuji Empire was sitting on the dragon throne, and 2 old men were sitting on the seats that hadn't been occupied for almost 100 years. These 2 old men were the ancestors of the Wuji Empire, and they were even more powerful than the king. Obviously, with the expansion of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, the barbarian goddess has come again in a high-profile manner. Soon, they might declare war on the solipsistic sect. The Emperor of Wuji Empire muttered, "Your Majesty, our relationship with the Sky Demon is relatively close. As long as we stay out of this war, it shouldn't affect us in any way." An elder standing at the front of the hall said. No matter what, the Sky Demon once saved Qing City. Send someone to send gifts to express their sympathy and goodwill. At the back of the Wuji Empire's throne, Patriarch Dark Eye said faintly. With the peak combat strength that the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has displayed, it's already comparable to the Supreme Sect and the Southern Royal Family. We remain neutral. Another patriarch of the Wuji Empire said directly. Yes. The king of the Wuji Empire immediately nodded and sent someone to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire to express his condolence. Reporting to Supreme Sect Master, this is the news from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. At the Solitaire Sect, similarly, all the experts of the entire sect gathered at a mountain peak. The Supreme Sect Master stared at the information in his hand with a gloomy face, his body filled with a terrifying killing intent. At least 2 9th-level profound void martial artists, or even 3. He sat on the green stone chair, his palm grabbing hard, leaving deep marks. I'll make a trip to the Southern Royal Family. All the disciples of our sect will enter battle mode and be ready for battle at any time, the Supreme Headmaster said with a stern expression. His figure moved and disappeared. Now that Patriarch Feng Kai of our sect had fallen, they, one of the 3 major factions, were at a complete disadvantage. Facing a powerful enemy, they had no means to resist. The only way was to join forces with the Southern Royal Family. The Southern Royal Family couldn't stay out of the Sky Demon's death either. I heard that the Wuji dynasty sent people to the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty. Are they going to join forces? The Supreme Headmaster of the Solipsistic sect is scared. He actually went to the Southern Royal Family in person. He must have come to an agreement with the Southern Royal Family. In the past few days, I have a feeling that the atmosphere in the vast region has changed greatly. There won't be a war, will there? As time passed, the arrival of the Wilderness Goddess and the Dragon Phoenix Empire shocked the vast region. The actions of the 3 superpowers had affected everyone. In the past 10 days, every piece of news had caused a huge commotion. In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom where all the factions had gathered, everyone could feel a heavy atmosphere. Even a first-rate faction would shudder in the face of a superpower. Feng Huang, the Wilderness Goddess, Prime Minister Gui, after our Patriarch's decision, we are willing to use the information channels of the He clan to provide all the resources for the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. In the imperial city of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, Feng Luan, Prime Minister Gui, Lan Qingyu, and the others gathered once again. An old man sat at the side below and said respectfully, "It's enough. The following battle is not something you can participate in." Feng Luan nodded and looked at the old man with sparkling eyes. "In the next 3 days, can you find information about the disciples of our sect?" The old man was shocked when he heard Feng Luan's words and immediately nodded. "As long as the disciples of our sect appear, the He clan will be able to receive the information." "Okay, in that case, we will wait for your news." Feng Luan nodded. "Yes, Emperor Feng." The old man nodded and left after talking for a while. "Are we going to make a move?" Lan Qingyu looked at Feng Luan and asked. "Make a move, Prime Minister Gui. How are the preparations going in the Dragon Palace?" Feng Luan nodded and looked at Prime Minister Gui. "The Demon Combat Division won't participate in the following battles. The small-scale battles will mainly rely on the Dragon Spur Division of the Dragon Guard Division and the Heavenly Eye Arrow Division." Prime Minister Gui's eyes sparkled. "We are not in a hurry to nourish the battle with battle." "Okay." Feng Luan nodded. "Our Dragon and Phoenix Empire is not as strong as you, but I will do well in the back. The vast area is going to be in chaos." Time passed slowly. It had been half a month since the Dragon and Phoenix Empire had arrived in the vast area. In half a month, there was no movement except for the more than 300 cities that they had conquered. But everyone knew that this was the calm before the storm. Those are the disciples of the Solitaire sect. Are they heading into the Divine Kingdom ruins? The Solitaire sect has suffered heavy losses. If they want to recover quickly, they have to enter the Divine Kingdom ruins to obtain resources. At the location of the Divine Kingdom ruins, the Solitaire sect group of 40 to 50 people flew towards the Divine Kingdom ruins. Some people in the surroundings saw this and whispered amongst themselves. "Damn it, They actually dare to talk about our only sect. At our peak, who would dare to talk about us? At this moment, among the 40 to 50 people, a young man shouted in a low voice with an embarrassed expression. His gaze swept across the group of people and his eyes were filled with killing intent. The sect leader told us to keep a low profile and not cause any trouble. An old man warned with a gloomy face. Hearing the discussions around him, his expression did not look good either. If it was in the past, if anyone dared to talk about them like this, they would be killed immediately. Wong wong wong. Su su su. Kill. As soon as the old man finished speaking, an incomparably cold killing intent suddenly charged towards them. Numerous deadly arrows and incomparably resplendent golden long swords. Not good. They're definitely from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. We've been ambushed. Kill. The expressions of the 40 to 50 disciples of the Solitaire sect changed drastically, and they hurriedly took out their weapons. Ah! Screams of pain instantly rang out. The members of the Dragon Guard and the Heavenly Eye Arrow Division, who had been ambushed beforehand, immediately launched fatal attacks. After less than 2 rounds of attacks, 40 to 50 disciples of the Solitaire sect were directly killed. Take away the corpses, let's go. One of the Dragon Guards gave the order to take away all the corpses and leave. When the surrounding people saw the disciples of the Solitaire sect suddenly being killed by the attacks, they were all shocked. Gulp. Has it started? Has the Dragon Phoenix Empire started to make a move? It's chaotic. It's about to get chaotic. 2 superpowers fighting. No, there might even be 3. Chapter 1619. 1619 1619 Super Forces. As expected, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has made their move. Do they really think that we, the Supreme Sect, are easy to bully? War. All the disciples of the Supreme Sect are ready for war. Gather all the information about the Dragon and Phoenix Empire and fight. Contact the Southern Royal Family. We have already formed an alliance with the Southern Royal Family. Kill. When the Supreme Sect leader of the Supreme Sect learned that his disciples had been attacked, he roared furiously. It's the Supreme Sect leader. Kill. If they want to fight, then we'll fight them. The Soli Sect was in an uproar, and everyone's faces were filled with killing intent. From today onwards, the Soli Sect and the Dragon Phoenix Empire will fight to the death. From today onwards, the Southern Royal Family and the Dragon Phoenix Empire will fight to the death. On the same day, the Soli Sect announced the start of the battle. In less than a few hours, the Southern Royal Family also announced the start of the battle. The 2 superpowers declared war at the same time, causing the entire vast region to be in an uproar. My God, as expected, the lone cult and the Southern Royal Family have joined forces. The battle is about to begin. With the superpowers joining forces, the entire vast region is about to become a battlefield. According to rumors, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire has at least 2 rank 9 void interpretation experts, or even 3. The lone cult and the Southern Royal Family have no choice but to join forces. All the forces in the vast area revealed expressions of shock. They really have joined forces. Do they really think that we're afraid of you? Feng Luan and Prime Minister Gui revealed cold expressions when they heard the declaration of the Lone Sect and the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Announced that from today onwards, the Dragon Phoenix Empire, the Lone Sect, and the Southern Royal Family will fight to the death. The next day, Feng Luan's words spread throughout the entire area. They had come here to fight. Who was afraid of a battle? In the entire area, there were 4 superforces, and 3 of them had declared war. The scope of the battle would definitely affect the entire area. The declaration of war began, and so did the battle. On the 3rd day after the declaration of war, the Dragon Guards and the Heavenly Eye Arrow Division attacked again, killing over 100 disciples of the Southern Royal Family. On the 5th day, the solipsistic sect laid an ambush and used bait to kill 5 Dragon Guards. On the 10th day, the 500 void interpretation experts of the Dragon Phoenix Empire fought with the 300 void interpretation experts of the Southern Royal Family. They lost 30 void interpretation experts and killed more than 250 of their opponents. On the 15th day, the Southern Royal Family sent people to secretly attack a city of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. They killed 1 million people and left. On the 20th day, 1,000,000 people from a foreign race under the Southern royal family were killed overnight. In the first month, the area occupied by the Southern royal family and the solipsistic sect in the God Country ruins suffered a sneak attack and suffered heavy losses. Damn it, damn it. How did the Dragon Phoenix Empire know our information so accurately? They have just arrived in the vast area. There must be a faction providing them with information. A month later, the war between the three superforces shook the entire vast region. After a month of confrontation, the Dragon Phoenix Empire was in a completely advantageous position. In the Southern royal family's southern desolate plains, the Southern royal family's patriarch roared angrily. In our vast region, the most powerful forces with information are the Wuji Empire and the He clan. Both of them could have provided information to the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The Supreme Headmaster also stood there with a gloomy expression. In a month, each of them had lost 500 to 600 experts at the profound void tier. This was close to 1/10 of their strength. We can't go on like this. Next, we'll have to command some small factions to serve us. In addition, today, we'll head to the Wuji Empire and ask them if they've provided information to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. As for the He clan, we'll directly destroy them. The patriarch of the Southern royal family roared furiously. Let's go. We'll set off immediately. The Supreme Headmaster nodded and immediately flew into the Wuji dynasty. On the same day, the news of the Supreme Headmaster and the two patriarchs of the Southern royal family going to the Wuji dynasty's imperial palace spread throughout the vast region. The He clan, who had received the news at the first moment, immediately recalled all their disciples and defended the holy tree. The supreme hierarch and the two ancestors of the Southern royal family left the Wuji dynasty and flew directly to the He clan. With the protection of the sacred tree, the He clan could withstand the attacks of three peerless experts. 10 days later, a first-rate force, the Dust Gate, suddenly attacked the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty. The 200 dragon guards were caught unprepared and were killed. Ao Yarrow, mobilize all the members of the Dragon Spike and kill all the forces that are close to the Southern royal family of the Supreme Hierarch. 200 dragon guards were killed. Prime Minister Gui's eyes turned red as he gave an order to Ao Yarrow. The Dust Sect's attack had completely implicated all the other forces. In one night, the Nine Lotus Sect, which was close to the Solitaire Sect, was directly destroyed. The Dust Sect and the others escaped to the Solitaire Sect and escaped to calamity. However, the first-rate force, the Southern Garden Empire, was forced by the Southern royal family to join the battle and fight against the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. The appearance of the three first-rate forces caused the battle to spread to the entire region. It was a huge battle, a fierce battle. The first-rate forces were forced by the Lone Sect and the Southern royal family to take action, and the second-rate forces wouldn't be able to stay out of it. 2 months later, the He clan and the He Sui clan joined the battle of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. The battle became even more fierce. In the 3rd month, the Wuji Empire declared that they would remain neutral in this war in the vast region. After that, the Divine Light Empire declared that they would remain neutral. Those second-rate and weak forces all joined the Wuji Empire, remaining neutral and seeking protection. 30% of the forces were close to the Wuji Empire and remained neutral. 30% of the forces were forced to join the solipsistic sect and the Wuji Empire. Only 20% of the forces joined the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's camp. As for the other 20% of the forces, they had already been destroyed by Ao Yarrow and the Dragon Spike members. The bitter war lasted for 8 months straight. During these 8 months, tens of millions of people were killed or injured. Assassinations and attacks were being carried out every day. However, the top-level battles did not erupt because, according to the estimates of the other forces in the vast region, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire might have 3 insightful Void Tier 9 experts. In a 3-on-3 situation, no one had a chance of winning. Even the Supreme Sect Master and the Southern Imperial family's patriarch did not dare to act rashly. Reporting to the Phoenix Emperor, our medicinal pill shop and forging workshop have already been established in 200 cities. We can officially open for business on the same day. 8 months later, the terrifying battle had already come to a stalemate. In the past half a month, no large-scale battle had broken out. An expert from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire came to the Imperial Palace and reported to Feng Luan. Okay. Feng Luan nodded and took the interspatial ring he handed over. Inside were all the profits from the medicine shop and the forging workshop. After 8 months of intense battle, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire was able to reach a complete stalemate with the two superforces. Apart from the Dragon Palace, these resources accounted for a large portion. Chapter 1620. 1620 was the most ruthless emperor's family. There should be a period of peace in the future. We're not in a hurry. We'll continue to fight with them after Xiaoxian resurrect. Lan Qingyu, Guan Shuqing, and the other girls were also sitting in the imperial study. They had a faint smile on their faces. During the 8-month war, most of the losses of the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty were on the Dragon Palace's side. Most of the people who died and participated in the war were members of the Dragon Palace. However, the Dragon Palace didn't suffer heavy losses during the 8 months. Instead, their strength continued to increase. It was also because of this that the Dragon Phoenix Empire was able to contend against the two superforces, first-rate forces, and many second-rate forces. It was also because of the Dragon Palace that the He clan and He Sui clan were willing to join the Dragon Phoenix Empire's camp. This was because the Dragon Phoenix Empire had guaranteed that they wouldn't be allowed to charge at the front lines. Unlike the Southern royal family's solipsistic sect, the forces that were coerced into joining them had to be the first to charge at the front line when they fought. We can waste time with them. Right now, we have indirectly affected more than 1,800 cities. The daily income from the elixir stores and the forging workshop can create more than 10 insightful void-level experts. In half a year, the Southern royal family and the solipsistic sect will be completely exhausted to death by us, Prime Minister Gui said with a smile. After 8 months of fighting, even if the Dragon Palace was at the forefront, and even if 3,000 or 4,000 members of the Dragon Palace died, the biggest winner would still be the Dragon Palace. The corpses of the enemies and the resources in the interspatial rings of the enemies were enough to raise the strength of the Dragon Palace by 1 level. In addition, the dead members of the Dragon Palace could be resurrected in the Dragon Palace, although it consumed a lot of resources. However, these resources could be made up with the profits of the forging workshop. As a result, after an 8-month war, the Dragon Palace had about 15,000 insightful emptiness realm experts, which was originally more than 7,000. Among them, the strength of the leaders was comparable to an 8th-level insightful emptiness realm expert. After all, this war affected 70% of the forces in the vast region. This was because more than a dozen second-rate forces and 2 first-rate forces had been destroyed in this war. A lot of resources were sent to the Dragon Palace. In the Divine Kingdom Forest, the Demon War Department, Ao Chitian, and the others did not participate in this war. They had been wreaking havoc in the Divine Kingdom Forest. The number of corpses they obtained from the fierce beasts reached 20,000 to 30,000 in 8 months. All of them were void interpretation level fierce beasts. The war would only make the Dragon Palace stronger and stronger. As for the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, after obtaining a lot of resources, their strength was also increasing rapidly every day. Compared to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace, the solipsistic sect and the Southern royal family were undoubtedly much more miserable. After 8 months of war, 6,000 to 7,000 profound void realm experts had fallen. Each of their forces had lost at least half of their profound void realm experts. After 8 months of war, the entire vast area was filled with killing intent. In the following time, the Dragon Phoenix Empire will completely take control of the cities below, Feng Luan said with a smile. Because of this war, all the forces were divided into 3 camps. The Wuji Empire was neutral, and they were in opposition to the Southern royal family of the solipsistic sect. They were completely 3-sided. In the next few days, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire could properly absorb more than 1,800 cities. Once they absorbed all of them, the power of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire would reach a terrifying level. It would have endless potential in the future. Sister Feng Luan, the resources in your hands should be enough for you to increase a level, right? Lan Qingyu asked with a smile. It's enough. I'll return to the Dragon Palace in the next few days, Feng Luan nodded with a smile. Then once Sister Feng Luan's strength breaks through again, won't you be equivalent to a half-step Wanshou expert? Guan Shuqing asked with some surprise. If I transform into a fire phoenix, I can fight against a half-step longevity realm expert, but I can't fight with a fire phoenix body, Feng Luan said faintly. The former empress of the Phoenix dynasty was famous throughout the entire extraordinary continent. Even in the Flowing Sea region, there was a legend of the empress. Once she transformed into a fire phoenix, it would arouse suspicion. Once the Phoenix dynasty knew that she was still alive, they would immediately dispatch longevity realm experts to kill her. Therefore, she absolutely could not transform into a fire phoenix to fight. Then when will Sister Feng Luan be able to show her true face to others? Guan Shuqing looked at Feng Luan, who was wearing a veil, and said, "Very soon. When I reach the longevity realm, we will announce that the Dragon Phoenix Empire will be promoted to an empire." Feng Luan touched the veil on her face, and her eyes flickered with a cold luster. Reporting to the Empress, an unfamiliar expert has arrived outside and is here to pay his respects to you. At this moment, the voice of a guard came from outside. "King." When the guard's voice ended, an old man's voice came over. "Let him in," Feng Luan immediately said when she heard the voice. "Yes." An old man walked in. The old man's entire body was covered in a fiery red robe. He walked into the imperial study and took off his hat. "Greetings, King." The old man directly knelt down and said, "Get up, little flame. If there's anything you need, come over directly." Feng Luan waved her hand at him and asked, "King, there's a piece of news. Ancestor Yun asked me to consult you." The old man bowed and said, "What is it?" Feng Luan slightly frowned and a trace of solemnity appeared on her face. "According to the news we received, the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Pill Workshop are going to send experts over to prepare to destroy your Majesty's dynasty." The old man also said solemnly, "The Cloud Ancestor asked you if you need the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan to start a war with the two major forces." "What?" In the surroundings, Guan Shuqing and the other girls heard the old man's words and their expressions changed greatly. They let out a cry of fear. "Can't hold them back anymore?" Feng Luan asked with a frown. "After all the forces start a war, we can pin down the two major forces," the old man said in a deep voice. "Then let's start a war. Don't fight to the death. Pin them down. Tell little Yun that in a year's time, at most a year, when the time comes, I will have no fear of the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. In 3 years, we will destroy the two forces." Feng Luan slowly stood up, and a powerful aura was emitted. The old man was slightly startled. He felt the aura on Feng Luan's body, and his face was filled with determination. "Yes, my king. With our Fire Cloud Sparrow clan around, my king, you can rest assured and develop," the old man said resolutely. Feng Luan nodded. "Your Majesty, we are at war with the two great factions. Their experts have no time to come over, but you have to be careful. Be careful of their other ways of targeting us." The old man hesitated for a moment before reminding her. "I know." Feng Luan's face was deep in thought. "I will make preparations." "Yes, then little Flame will take his leave." The old man bowed and immediately left. The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop have always been a huge trouble. After the elder of the Fire Lark clan left, Feng Luan frowned and murmured. Chapter 1621. 1621 was the most ruthless emperor's family. Ever since Feng Luan returned to the Transcendence continent to develop, from the beginning of the immortal Phoenix Pill and Weapons Workshop to the present Dragon Phoenix Empire's pill and weapons, she had always been suppressed. If the Firelark clan wasn't around, the Dragon Phoenix Empire might have been directly destroyed because of the competition in the business of pills and weapons. Then, the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop would still be the enemy of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The Dragon and Phoenix Empire wanted to monopolize the weapons and pills, and the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop would never be willing to let the market be taken away. In the future, they would either give up or there would be a great war. When we become stronger, We will destroy the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop, Guan Shuqing and the other girls said to Feng Luan with slight anger on their faces. When they were in the transvestite graveyard in the Liuhai region, the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop had joined forces with the Demon Beast clan to join forces with the Bloodflow Empire to deal with them. This enmity must be avenged in the future. There's no rush. We've only developed for 4 years. Now that we've occupied so many domains, our development is much faster than before. 1 year later, we'll have the strength to destroy the lone cult and the Southern royal family. At that time, we'll be completely unafraid of the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. We'll definitely be able to destroy them within 3 years. Feng Luan said with a smile. The financial resources of a force at this level are too powerful. Even if they are restrained by the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan, we must be careful. When they were in the Flowing Sea region, they didn't send anyone, but mobilized a very powerful force. Prime Minister Gui continued, in the vast region, the three-legged situation has already taken shape. If they want to completely suppress us and even destroy us, only the Wuji dynasty and the southern royal family of the solipsistic sect are united. Isn't the Wuji dynasty on good terms with Little Xian? Moreover, when we first came here, they even sent us some items to express their goodwill, Guan Shuqing and the others said. Let's hope so. Prime Minister Gui nodded. The three-legged alliance has already taken shape in the vast area. Based on the current situation, even if we fight, it won't be as miserable as it was in the past half a year. During the Great War, although our shops in the Dragon and Phoenix Empire region were expelled, due to the effects of the war, the sales of pills and weapons increased a little. But now, the sales of pills and weapons in our 2 families will be directly reduced by 1/3. This is 1/3. We can give up on that small place in the Flowing Sea region. We absolutely cannot give up on the vast region now. However, at this moment, in a trade city in the vast region, dozens of middle-aged elders gathered in an academy that had a historical foundation. Among them, there were artifact masters and alchemy masters. Each of them had an extremely high status. The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop were not only the 2 most powerful pill and weapon workshops in the transcendental continent, they also gathered the most powerful pill and weapon masters. In this city named Tianyun, the 2 most powerful pill and weapon academies in the vast region were gathered. One was the Life and Death Pill Academy, and the other was the Holy Item Forging Academy. All the powerful forgers and pill workshops in the vast region came from these 2 academies. These 2 academies were also opened by the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Pill Workshop. All the higher-ups of the 2 academies were gathered in the Academy Council building. An old man with a hammer in his hand glanced at everyone and said in a deep voice, "Right now, the Dragon Phoenix Empire is developing too fast. Not long ago, they ruled the Flowing Sea region. Now, they have conquered a vast region. They don't allow us to enter their territory at all. After half a year of fighting, only my sect and the Southern royal family didn't have the slightest advantage. No matter what, as long as the Dragon Phoenix Empire exists, our losses will be extremely terrifying. In the future, if the Dragon Phoenix Empire takes over more areas, we can also retreat from the vast areas." In the opposite seat, an old man with long white hair and a white beard said with an unpleasant expression, "Let's not talk so much nonsense. We all understand the current situation. The headquarters has already given the order to do whatever it takes." The old man holding the forging hammer said with a cold expression, "With our strength, even if the 2 great academies support the lone cult and the Southern royal family, they won't be able to change the current occupation. Unless the Wuji Empire makes a move, otherwise, it will be very difficult to destroy the 3-legged tripod." The long-haired old man said directly. "Then we will head to the Wuji Empire. As long as they are willing to offer conditions, we will agree." The old man holding the forging hammer shouted. "It is said that Wuji Empire has a good relationship with Sky Demon. If we want them to make a move, I'm afraid." An old man frowned and said in a deep voice, "Relationship? Now that Sky Demon is dead, what relationship does it have? In the face of benefits, those friendships are completely vulnerable. The old man holding the forging hammer said with a gloomy face. All right, in that case, let's go to Wuji Empire personally. The long white-haired old man stood up and said loudly. Go. Go. Immediately, the 20 to 30 grandmasters in the hall flew directly toward Wuji Empire. In the vast region, Wuji Emperor was now a pure land. The war did not affect the entire empire. During this period of time, many people rushed over to the peaceful Wuji dynasty, which made the entire dynasty even more prosperous. Wuji Imperial City was backed by Wuji Mountain, and the mountain peak was 20,000 meters tall. Wuji dynasty had 4 majestic characters, each of which was 2,000 meters tall, engraved on Wuji Mountain. The entire Wuji Imperial City was like an immortal city. Reporting to Your Majesty, the Life and Death Pill Academy and the Holy Item Forging Workshop of Chenyun City have come. They say that they have something important to discuss with Your Highness. In the Imperial Palace, a eunuch entered the Imperial study and reported to the current Emperor of the Wuji Empire. Oh! The Life and Death Pill Academy and the Holy Item Forging Academy. The king of the Wuji Empire was slightly stunned, and a thoughtful expression appeared on his face. Let them in. Go to Wuji Mountain and inform the 2 ancestors. Call up Qing City and a few important officials. Tell them that there are people from the Holy Item Forging Workshop and the Life and Death Pill Workshop coming, Wuji Nation Master said slowly. He could already guess why the 2 great forces were coming. However, he could no longer make the decision on such a matter. It's the Emperor. The old eunuch immediately nodded and walked out. Soon, Master Blacksmiths and Master Blacksmiths walked into the Imperial study one after another. Everything was just as the Wuji king had expected. The 2 powerful forces hoped that the Wuji dynasty would make a move and change the current 3-legged situation. However, he didn't give any reply. Instead, he made them wait at the side. Chapter 1622. 1622 was the family of the most ruthless emperor. Father, ancestor. When Wu Qingcheng came to the imperial study room, he saw his father and the 2 ancestors there. He was slightly shocked and immediately bowed. Qingcheng, sit aside. Wu Ji King said to Wu Qingcheng. It's father. Wu Qingcheng looked at the imperial study room curiously. The 2 ancestors came in person, and there were 5 important ministers of the dynasty. What happened? What are the conditions offered by the Life and Death School and the Forging School? When he sat down, an old man sitting next to Patriarch Dark Eye asked Wu Ji King. 5 elixir masters and 5 forging masters have served us for 100 years. 50 rank 8 insightful void pills and 50 rank 8 weapons. 5 rank 9 void interpretation pills and 5 rank 9 void interpretation weapons. The king of Wuji Nation said directly with an expression of shock on his face. Patriarch Dark Eye and the other patriarch also had an inexplicable expression in their eyes. This. Imperial Father, what's going on? The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop are going to. Wu Qingcheng heard their conversation and immediately stood up with a shocked expression on his face. The 2 forces want us to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Wu Ji King looked at his son and said, What? Destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Why do they want to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Besides, don't we have a good relationship with the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Wu Qingcheng was slightly surprised and asked loudly. Of course, the Dragon Phoenix Empire blocked their way of making money. I don't understand why the Dragon Phoenix Empire has so many pill and weapon masters. They can actually monopolize the pills and weapons of their own empire, Wuji Nation's king said in deep thought. Father, aren't we on good terms with the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Why are we? Wu Qingcheng said with a slightly unpleasant expression. Priest Wang had expelled the darkness soul from his body. This was a huge favor. And the relationship between the Dragon Phoenix Empire and Priest Wang was clearly a matter of opinion. As a king, you have to put the overall situation first. You have to put the empire first. That's what a good king is. Qingcheng, if you want to become the ruler of the Wuji Empire, you have to be ruthless. The emperor is ruthless, and the country is above everything else. The Wuji ruler stared at Wu Qingcheng and said slowly. Hehe, if you want to take the position of your father, you have to put the overall situation above everything else. You have to put the interests above everything else. Back then, my strength was unrivaled in our Wuji Empire. At that time, my father still passed the position to my younger brother. If you don't have the courage, then don't take this position. Qing Cheng, can you do it? Patriarch Dark Eye smiled and said indifferently. As a powerhouse who had lived for thousands of years, would he be grateful to Priest Wang for saving Wuqing City for the rest of his life? Obviously, this was impossible. Not to mention that Priest Wang was already dead. Even if he was still alive, they would still put the Wuji Empire first and put profit first. Since ancient times, the ruthless king was not a joke. If they were born in an imperial family, they could even kill each other, let alone others. I know. Wu Qing Cheng frowned. However, we don't have to directly attack the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. As long as the Dragon and Phoenix Empire doesn't lock down the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop, won't everything be fine? That's right. Therefore, we can inform the Dragon and Phoenix Empire in advance. It's considered to be doing our best. Patriarch Dark Eye said. If it were another empire, what do you think they would choose? The Dragon Phoenix Empire, and we are both empires. We are in a competitive relationship. If we destroy them, not only can we get all their territory, but we can also get the rewards of the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop. In addition, I think this reward is too little. Dark Mark's strength has already reached the peak of level 8 Void Interpretation. If we make a move at the end, the two big forces will raise Dark Mark to level 9 Void Interpretation. I hope that the Dragon Phoenix Empire will ignore our reminder, the old man next to Dark Eye Ancestor said with a smile. The other ancestor was once the previous king of the Wuji Empire. He naturally knew how to deal with the general situation of the empire. The king of the Wuji Empire and Dark Eye revealed expressions of interest. Once they made a move, the rewards would reach an unimaginable level. The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop were two forces on the continent. The rewards they could offer were definitely not limited to what they said. They could completely raise an expert at the peak of the 8th rank of the Profound Void tier to the 9th rank of the Profound Void tier. In addition, if they made their move, it would be equivalent to helping the Lone Sect and the Southern Royal Family. At that time, they could make the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's territory belong to their Wuji Empire. This would double the size of the entire Wuji Empire's territory. In the future, 2/3 of the entire territory would belong to the Wuji Empire. The future of the Wuji Empire would definitely become stronger and stronger. Alright, since that's the case, we'll inform the Dragon and Phoenix Empire first. We've already done a great deed by doing this. The king of Wuji nodded. In his opinion, reminding the Dragon and Phoenix Empire to let their life and death and sacred objects enter the city was already a great deed. This could be said to be a great deed, because if they did so, the rewards they would receive would be much lower, and they naturally wouldn't receive territories and the like. Of course, there was also a benefit to doing so. They didn't have to offend the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, and they didn't have to engage in a great battle. Once they made their move, they would have to face the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's 9th level Profound Void tier powerhouse. Imperial Father, let me personally make a trip to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire this time. Wu Qing Cheng hesitated for a moment and slowly said from the side. Alright, then you go, Qing Cheng. Remember, we also gave Priest Wang a very high reward for saving you. You don't owe him too much. Wuji King looked at his son and said faintly, "It's father." Wu Qing Cheng nodded. Wuji King ordered his men to summon the masters from the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop over for another discussion. In the end, Wu Qing Cheng led a group of people on the Shadow Lion and flew towards the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Your Highness, the Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City is right in front of us. It used to be the Ice Heart Imperial City. 3 days later, a voice was heard in the sedan. Wu Qing Cheng opened his eyes and slowly picked up the wine flask at the side and walked out. He looked at the city in front of him and slowly raised the wine flask in his hand. This cup of wine is for the Priest King. Thank you for saving my life back then. He poured the wine into the cup and slowly poured it down. The second cup of wine is for a heavenly devil that even I am in awe of. He slowly poured it down and poured it onto the ground. The third cup of wine is for myself. The path of a ruler surpasses all living things. My will is in the world. My will is in Wuji Imperial Court. All living things are chess pieces. I am a Go player. This is the path of a ruler. Chapter 1623. 1623. The Alliance of the Three Great Superpowers. Who's up there? Come down immediately. At the city walls of the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City, more than 10 profound void martial experts flew directly into the sky. They stared vigilantly at the people of Wuching City who were flying towards them in the sky, and shouted loudly. Wuji Imperial Court, Wuching City, come to pay respects to the Dragon Phoenix Empress. Standing on top of the proud suns, Wuching City said indifferently. Wuji Empire's Crown Prince, Wuching City. The dozens of void interpretation experts guarding the city wall sized up the people of Wuching City and then extended their hands to invite them. Please take me to meet Empress Dragon and Phoenix. Wuching City said directly to them. Yes. The leader in the center nodded. The Crown Prince of Wuji Empire had come in person, so he must have something important. Your Majesty, the Crown Prince of Wuji Empire requests to see you. In the Dragon Palace of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, Feng Luan, Guan Shuqing, and the other girls were sitting in the back garden. Feng Luan was surprised when she heard the report from the maid. Wu Qingcheng is here. Tell him to wait in the Imperial Study, Feng Luan said directly and walked toward the Imperial Study. Empress Dragon and Phoenix. Entering the Imperial Study, Wuching City cupped his hands towards Feng Luan. I wonder why the Crown Prince of Wuching City is here. Feng Luan sat down and gestured at him. The relationship between the Dragon and Phoenix Empire and Wuji Empire wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't good either. When the two countries interacted, it was basically for the sake of benefits. Empress Dragon and Phoenix, there are two things that Wuching City is here for. The first reason is that Priest Wang once saved my life. I, Wuching City, am a grateful person. I would like to pay my respects to Priest Wang, Wuching City said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. There's no need to pay my respects, and I can't pay my respects either. Feng Luan shook her head. Crown Prince of Wuching City, just tell me the second reason. That's really a pity. There aren't many people that Wuching City admires in our lifetime. The younger generation even looks down on all heroes. Only Priest Wang commands my respect. Wu Qingcheng shook his head regretfully. The second thing is that we have something to discuss with Empress Dragon Phoenix on behalf of our Wuji Empire. Oh, what is it? Feng Luan asked curiously. Our Wuji Empire has been on good terms with the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop for generations. This time, the two major forces have come to beg us. They hope that the Dragon Phoenix Empire can remove the restrictions on them. They hope that the market can be handed over to them. Wu Qingcheng continued. His words caused Feng Luan's pupils to constrict slightly, and a trace of coldness flashed in her eyes. This is the decision of your Wuji Empire. Feng Luan stared at Wu Qingcheng and directly asked. Oh. Wu Qingcheng felt Feng Luan's gaze and was startled. He slowly puffed out his chest and said, We have been entrusted by the two great forces of the transcendent continent to come here to mediate. What if we can't mediate? Feng Luan said indifferently. Then I don't know either. Wu Qingcheng pursed his lips and pondered for a moment before continuing. The Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop are, after all, the most powerful forces in the entire continent. There are dozens of half-step void interpretation rank 9 experts and 2 longevity experts. It's not wise to make an enemy of such a force. Our Wuji Empire also came to remind us out of kindness to avoid making a big mistake. He said slowly. Hee. Feng Luan smiled. Since we dare to drive the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop out of the domain, we naturally know them well. In the vast area, as long as your Wuji Empire doesn't make an enemy of us, the two major forces of the extraordinary continent can't do anything to us. even if they join forces with the lone sect and the southern royal family. As Feng Luan spoke, she slowly drank a mouthful of tea and looked at Wu Qingcheng indifferently. Upon hearing her words, Wu Qingcheng's expression was somewhat unnatural. Since Empress Dragon Phoenix has already made up her mind, there's nothing Qingcheng can do. Wu Qingcheng stood up and cupped his hands. However, I still have to remind the Empress that the two major forces are, after all, the top forces of the entire continent. We can't afford to offend them. Farewell. As he spoke, he directly walked out. Feng Luan watched Wu Qingcheng leave, her eyes shining. Call Prime Minister Gui and Qing Yu over. There's something important to discuss, Feng Luan said to the old woman at the side. It's the Empress. Soon, Prime Minister Gui, Lan Qingyu, and the others came over. After hearing Feng Luan's words, all of their faces revealed solemn expressions. The only sect, the Southern Royal Family, and the Wuji dynasty, the three superforces, have a total of 5 experts at level 9 of the Profound Void tier. Right now, only the Dragon Queen and the Phoenix Emperor have reached level 9 of the Profound Void tier. If the Wuji dynasty really makes a move against us, we'll be in trouble. The worst thing had happened. The intervention of the Wuji dynasty could completely change the situation of the entire vast region in an instant. Then what should we do now? Lan Qingyu asked with a frown. Little Xian hasn't resurrected yet. Even if she does, we are still at a disadvantage. Once the Wuji dynasty really makes a move, we can only retreat back to the Flowing Sea region, Feng Luan said with a gloomy face. The great situation was going to be completely ruined because of the Life and Death Pill workshop, the Holy Item Forging workshop, and the Wuji dynasty. It would be great if the Dragon King could be resurrected. In this way, we can move the Dragon Palace to the Sea of Desolation. Even if they join forces, we will still be invincible, Prime Minister Gui said with a frown. It should be soon. According to the news from the Dragon Palace, Little Xian's dragon body has begun to recover. Lan Qingyu looked at Feng Luan. Let's prepare for the worst first. At most, we can endure for 2 more years. When we come back, we will destroy all 3 major forces in the vast region. That's the only way. Feng Luan nodded, feeling somewhat unwilling. The Fire Cloud Sparrow had already started a war with the 2 major forces. With its strength, it was definitely at a disadvantage. What it wanted in exchange was a stable development. However, it didn't expect such a result. The Dragon and Phoenix Empire had no choice but to prepare for their escape. Feng Luan even rushed to the Flowing Sea region overnight, converting the resources in her hands into her own strength. In the Wuji Empire, 3 days later, Wuqing City sent the answer from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. This answer didn't make the Wuji Empire angry. Instead, a smile appeared on their face. Raise a peak stage rank 8 Void Interpretation expert to rank 9 Void Interpretation. Contact the Solipsistic sect and the Southern Royal Family. We'll accept all the territories of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. If you agree, we'll agree too. The 2 conditions were passed on to the Life and Death Pill workshop and the Holy Item Forging workshop. In the end, the 2 large forces gritted their teeth and agreed. If they lost a place like this vast region, their businesses would be cut off by 1/5. If they cut off their source of income, they would definitely kill them. Chapter 1624. 1624 Under the alliance of the 3 superpowers of 1624. Today, in the Morning Dynasty of Wuji Empire, the king of Wuji Empire announced that he would go to other regions not long ago and find that the people of the vast region were suffering because of the war. He was deeply saddened that the peaceful and vast region had fallen into the flames of war. The king of Wuji Empire called for peace in the vast region and for less conflict. The king of the Wuji dynasty said in the imperial court that ever since the appearance of the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty, the people in the vast region have been living in poverty. There have been wars and killings everywhere, accusing the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty of being inhumane. What exactly does the Wuji dynasty mean by what happened in the imperial court, denouncing the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty publicly? 3 days later, a piece of news spread out from the imperial city of the Wuji dynasty and spread to the entire vast region. When everyone in the vast region heard this news, they were slightly stunned. What did the Wuji Empire mean by this? It's indeed as the Wuji Empire's king said. Ever since the Dragon and Phoenix Empire arrived, we've been trembling all day. When they didn't come, how peaceful our place was. That's right. I really hope that the Dragon and Phoenix Empire will scram back to their flowing sea region so as to avoid increasing the number of killings in our vast region. If the Wuji Empire helps the Lone Cult and the Southern Royal Family, we can totally destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire. It's impossible for the Wuji Empire to make a move, right? Once they join the war, although they can suppress the Dragon Phoenix Empire, they will still be angered, and the flames of war will spread to the Wuji Empire. The Dragon Phoenix Empire is just an outsider. I hope that the three superpowers can work together to drive the Dragon Phoenix Empire out of the vast region or destroy it. I agree. The vast area is our territory. Why should we let the Dragon Phoenix Empire harm us? When this voice spread to other places, voices rang out once again. The streets and alleys of the vast area were all talking. Gradually, more and more people were shouting for the Dragon Phoenix Empire to get out of the vast area. Even some of the cities ruled by the Dragon Phoenix Empire and some warrior mercenary groups also thought so. Ever since the Dragon and Phoenix Empire had arrived in the vast area for 8 months, the entire vast area had fallen into the flames of war. The cities ruled by the Dragon and Phoenix Empire were all ruled by force, and the people's hearts were not united. Public opinion suddenly erupted in the entire vast area. Damn, to be able to create such a huge public opinion in such a short period of time, it must be the Wuji Empire using their power. In the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's imperial palace, the He clan leader and He Sui clan leader were all gathered in the imperial palace. The He clan leader took a document and handed it to Feng Luan with an embarrassed expression. The Wuji Empire wants to stand on the side of righteousness and then announce that they are going to attack us, the He Sui clan leader said with a gloomy face. The development of an empire was different from a sect. The development of an empire required the support of the people and the support of experts. The Wuji Empire's action was obviously to pave the way for what they were going to do next. Clan leader He Sui, you lead your clansmen to retreat to the land of the He clan's holy tree. Feng Luan looked at the news one by one and her expression was somewhat awkward as she spoke to the He Sui clan's clan leader. Mph, the Wuji Empire is really something. War. Righteousness. Why didn't you say it when the only sect killed nearly 100,000 innocent people? The He clan leader roared with a gloomy face. The strong are the kings in this world. With the Wuji dynasty joining us, let's retreat for now. We will come back 1 year later, Feng Luan said in a deep voice. We finally got the situation we are in now. We are not willing to retreat like this, several important ministers said. In the current situation, we have to retreat even if we don't want to. Prime Minister Gui's face darkened. Emperor Feng, prepare to retreat. Retreat. Feng Luan nodded without the slightest hesitation. Emperor Feng, we will also take our leave. The He clan and He Sui clan's patriarch said directly with a bad expression. 1 year. You only need to endure patiently for 1 year, Feng Luan assured them. The two bowed and left immediately. The Wuji dynasty has announced that in order to ensure peace in the vast region and prevent some outsiders from destroying the vast region, they have decided to join forces with the solipsistic sect and the Southern Royal Family to expel or even destroy the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty. A voice suddenly sounded in the city of the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty. The voice covered half of the city. Damn it. Capture the person who spoke and kill him. In the imperial city, some of the guards heard the sudden voice and their faces instantly darkened. Everyone in the imperial city was also stunned. The Wuji Empire is going to make a move against our empire. Oh my god, the three major powers in the vast region are joining forces. Our empire is going to be destroyed again. To be honest, the policies of the Dragon and Phoenix Empress and the way she governs the country are very good. Sigh, the most pitiful ones are still us. When everyone heard this news, bitterness appeared on their faces. If the country was destroyed again, it could be said that they had changed several dynasties. At the same time, not only here, but also in the other cities of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, this voice sounded. The Wuji Empire also officially announced that they were joining forces with the solipsistic sect and the Southern royal family. Damn it, I didn't expect them to be so fast. When Feng Luan and the others received the news, they all looked embarrassed. Let's go. The girls felt humiliated, but they couldn't do anything about it. Woo-woo. Xiao Lan flew out of the Ice Heart Lake, and everyone from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire sat on her. The members of the Dragon Palace followed closely behind. Go back to the flowing sea area. Lan Qingyu patted Little Blue and looked around as she said in a deep voice. Woo-woo. Little Blue whistled and flew directly toward the flowing sea area. They've escaped. Everyone from the Dragon Phoenix Empire has escaped. I didn't expect them to escape. It seems that the Wuji Empire has made the Dragon Phoenix Empire completely afraid. In the Imperial City, everyone looked at the departing soldiers and generals of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and said with a complicated expression. Reporting, according to the news from the Dragon Phoenix Empire, everyone from the Dragon Phoenix Empire is quickly escaping towards the flowing sea region. At this moment, in the palace of the Wuji Empire in the God Country ruins, a middle-aged man quickly came to report. In the middle of the palace sat 6 elders. The 3 super-powerful experts were all here. Apart from the 6 strongest experts from the 3 superpowers, there were also the people in charge of the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop, as well as the upper echelons of the 3 superpowers. Escape. Where can they escape to? Even if they escape to the flowing sea region, we must destroy them. Haha. An old man from the Life and Death Pill Workshop heard this news and laughed out loud with a savage face. Just nice, we will take back the flowing sea region's market this time. A trace of a smile appeared on the face of the old man from the Holy Item Forging Workshop. I want to make them pay with blood that is thousands and tens of thousands of times more. I want to make the Sky Devil, even if it is in the Netherworld, not be able to have peace. The Supreme Headmaster slowly closed his eyes, his cold voice penetrating people's heart. Chapter 1625. 1625 On the expedition to the flowing sea region. All disciples of our sect, listen up. Follow me to the expedition to the flowing sea region and destroy the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Leave no one alive. In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, a voice filled with killing intent suddenly resounded throughout the entire sky. The entire Divine Kingdom ruins, which spanned thousands of kilometers, could be heard clearly. This is the voice of the Supreme Sect Leader. What is our sect trying to do? In an instant, everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom was slightly stunned. Their faces were filled with astonishment. Everyone looked towards the direction of the Wuji Empire in unison. Disciples' orders. At this moment, in the east, the disciples of the only sect flew directly into the sky. Everyone in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom hurriedly turned around, their faces filled with shock. All the disciples of the Solitaire sect had come. There were more than 20,000 elite disciples, each of them exuding a terrifying murderous aura. Especially at the front, there were more than 2,000 insightful Void Realm experts. After 8 months of battle, these experts represented the entire strength of the Solitaire sect. All the disciples of the Southern Royal Family are psychic. Follow me to the flowing sea region and destroy the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Let them know that if these small flowing sea regions dare to provoke us, the result will be their own destruction. Just as everyone in the God Country ruins was shocked by the solipsistic sect, the Southern Royal Family's Nangong Jiangha's voice sounded. His voice was also filled with rage and fury. We will obey the Patriarch's orders. Experts from the Southern Royal Family in the God Country ruins flew into the sky. More than 20,000 experts and disciples responded loudly. The only sect, the Southern Royal Family, do they still have? In the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, looking at the 2 terrifying armies from the east and west, shock appeared on their faces. They muttered and suddenly had a guess in their hearts. 8 months ago, the leader of the flowing sea region, the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, came to our vast region and started a war. In 8 months, the entire vast region was plunged into misery and blood flowed like a river. Today, our Wuji Empire has decided to make the blood-stained Dragon and Phoenix Empire pay with blood. Not long ago, the The Dragon and Phoenix Empire fled to the Flowing Sea region after hearing that our Wuji Empire had interfered in the chaos in the vast area. They committed crimes in our vast area and plundered countless resources. Now, they want to run away. Do they really think that our vast area is easy to bully? Today, our Wuji Empire, together with the solipsistic sect and the Southern royal family, has decided to send troops to the Sea of Flowing Waters region to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire in order to prevent them from making a comeback. Very quickly, the doubts and guesses in everyone's hearts were solved. The Wuji Empire's king directly floated in the sky, and his voice of justice and vastness spread throughout the entire Divine Kingdom ruins. Everyone was shocked. A few days ago, ever since the Wuji Empire's imperial court had announced that the Wuji Empire's king was dissatisfied with the war in the vast region and condemned the Dragon Phoenix Empire, everyone had a premonition. Now, it had finally come true. Boom boom. Boom boom. At this moment, from the east and west, everyone from the Solitaire sect and the Southern royal family flew towards the sky above the Wuji Empire. Oh my god. Look. That is the Supreme Guardian group of the Solitaire sect. There are 7 experts at the 8th level of the Profound Void tier, and all the experts behind them are riding on the Skylark. That is the battle group of the Howling Sky-Patterned Wolves of the Southern royal family. All of the 100 Howling Sky-Patterned Wolves are at the 5th level of the Profound Void tier, and all of them are riding on experts above the 5th level of the Profound Void tier. At the back, even if they are not experts at the Profound Void tier, they are still the best battle group in our vast area. The unrivaled battle group. The Wuji Empire's strength is the strongest. The Shadow Lion, the Wuji Empire's strongest subsidiary race, the Shadow Lion Demon Beast race, over 1,000 Shadow Lions. It's simply too domineering. Everyone in the Divine Kingdom's ruins had their eyes on the 3 large factions in the vast region. They raised their heads and looked up, their hearts filled with shock. This could be said to be the strongest power in their vast region. Even the weakest was at Transcendent Level 9. Just by floating in the sky, they gave off an immense pressure. Normally, any faction would be able to cause the vast region to tremble 3 times. Now that the 3 major factions had joined forces, one could only imagine how terrifying it was. It was so terrifying. We will march into the vast region. 10 days later, we will return triumphantly. A strong confidence and righteous voice rang out as figures flew towards the front of the Wuji Empire's army. Out of the 3 teams, the most powerful was the Wuji Empire's army. There were close to 50,000 experts, which was about twice as many as the Soliloquy sect and the Southern royal family. During these 8 months, the neutral Wuji Empire did not suffer any losses. On the contrary, their strength had increased by a lot. Right now, the strength of the Wuji Empire was only a little weaker than the combined strength of the Unitary sect and the Southern royal family. The Wuji Empire had truly become the strongest super force. All the forces that are following us in the battle, follow us immediately. The Supreme Sect Master's figure instantly appeared in front of the Unitary sect as he coldly shouted. In the vast region, all the forces that are second-rate and above, follow us in the battle. The Patriarch of the Southern royal family also shouted. Ha ha, the School of Life and Death Elixirs and the School of Holy Item Forging will go to war together. Let's watch some reckless people die. The Green Wolf sect is ready to go to war. The Green Mountain sect is willing to go to war for the vast area of 100,000 kilometers. The sects, and dynasties that had long learned about the battle immediately flew over with all the swordsmen. They arrived behind the 3 superpowers, and there wasn't the slightest bit of surprise in their eyes. They had already received news of the 3 superpowers joining forces to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the past 2 days, and they had long since made preparations. The only surprise was that they had originally planned to head to the Dragon Phoenix Empire and directly destroy it, changing it to the area of the Flowing Sea. However, this didn't have much of an impact on them. With the alliance of the 3 superpowers and the strength of almost all the experts in the vast region, wouldn't it be an easy task to destroy the Flowing Sea region? If they couldn't even defeat the Flowing Sea region, then it would be a waste for them to be one of the 10 great regions of the vast region. One had to know that the area of their vast region and the number of experts were more than 10 times that of the vast region. All forces, follow us. The Wuji Nation master's gaze swept across everyone behind him, and a trace of strong confidence appeared on his face. There were about 120,000 people, with the lowest being at the rank 9 Transcendence Realm, the Void Interpretation Realm, and the Demonic Beasts. There were more than 10,000 of them. In the entire vast region, 90% of the Void Interpretation Realm experts had gathered. Let's go. The Supreme Headmaster's face revealed a trace of savage excitement as he roared. Yes. Roar roar. Everyone immediately responded. The demonic beasts, feeling the intense battle intent, let out roars. The 120,000-strong army quickly flew towards the flowing sea region. With their speed, they would be able to arrive in 5 days. According to the Wuji dynasty, they would return triumphantly in 10 days. This was because they didn't put the flowing sea region in their eyes at all. Chapter 1626. 1626 set out to conquer the flowing sea region. Boom, boom, boom. 120,000 people, vast and mighty. Although their numbers couldn't reach the tens of billions of people, they were all the strongest experts in the vast region. The weakest was at the 9th rank of the extraordinary realm. What kind of concept was this? Any one of them, if placed in the flowing sea region, would be able to establish a 1,000-year clan. These 120,000 people were the strongest existences among the hundreds of billions of people in the vast region. Each of them could be said to be 1 in a million experts. Especially at the front. 6 elders stood at the front. The 3 ancestors of the Wuji Empire all rode on the Dark Shadow Lion of the 8th rank of the Profound Void tier. The 10-meter-long Dark Shadow Lion had a dignified face, and terrifying demonic chi shook. Its dignity was inviolable. The Supreme Headmaster stood on the body of a giant green bird of the 8th rank of the Profound Void tier. The giant green bird, which had spread its wings and was 20 meters long, also emitted a sharp edge. The 2 ancestors of the Southern royal family rode on the 2 Sky Wing Wolf Kings with huge wings. 6 top-tier experts of the 9th rank of the Profound Void tier, invincible existences in the vast area. Hiss, the 3 superpowers almost used all their strength. This time, it's for real. The Wuji Empire actually has 3 experts of the 9th rank of the Profound Void tier. My god, didn't they only have 2 in the past? Invincible. This lineup is simply invincible. 6 experts at level 9 of the Profound Void tier and more than 40 experts at level 8 of the Profound Void tier killing the Dragon Phoenix Empire is a piece of cake. The Dragon Phoenix Empire is at most 50-50 with the Lone Cult and the Southern royal family. But now, the strength of the Wuji Empire is almost no weaker than the 2 superpowers. This battle, there is a 100% chance of winning. We should destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the flowing sea region and let you be arrogant. Since you dare to come to our vast region and start a war, you deserve to die. In the Divine Kingdom ruins, everyone looked up in awe as all the factions in the vast region flew towards the flowing sea region. Everyone was filled with excitement towards this journey. No matter what, the Dragon Phoenix Empire was an outsider and an invader. They were the ones who started the war. Now that all the forces in the vast region had joined forces, it was exciting. The invader must die. However, at this moment, Feng Luan, Lan Qingyu, and the others who were standing on Xiaolan didn't know that the entire army of the vast region was chasing them. That's the barbarian goddess giant beast. There seem to be many people on it. What are they trying to do? The Wuji dynasty has decided to deal with them. I think the barbarian goddess and the Dragon Phoenix dynasty are running away. They should be heading toward the flowing sea area. It seems that they are going to run away. If they don't run away, the Wuji dynasty will be able to destroy them directly. They are the ones who are going to start a war in our vast area. Feng Luan, Lan Qingyu, and the others, who were standing on Xiaolan's figure and had sensitive ears, could faintly hear the voices coming from below. This made their expressions turn ugly. The Wuji dynasty's actions are even more disgusting than the solipsistic sect and the Southern royal family. If they want to fight, they'll fight. Now, they're fighting for benefits, and they're standing at the moral high ground, fighting for the peace of the vast area. It's really shameful. Sun Lingxiu said with some disgust. We have to take revenge for this. Lan Qingyu pursed her lips. My cultivation base has just stepped into the 8th rank of the Profound Void tier. Soon, I will be able to fight against a 9th rank Profound Void tier expert. In 2 to 3 years, Little Blue will be able to evolve again. After evolving, Little Blue can sweep across the entire vast area. We don't have to rush. 1 or 2 years. We can afford to wait. Feng Luan looked down at the territory below. Her face was filled with strong confidence. In the face of this situation, if she were to rely on herself, she might be depressed and disappointed. However, with Wang Xian, Lan Qingyu, and the Dragon Palace around, other than a hint of unwillingness, she didn't feel too disappointed. Just as Lan Qingyu said, if she was given another 2 to 3 years, wouldn't it be easy for Xiao Lan to turn into a giant beast in the longevity realm and sweep across the entire vast area? One day, we will make a comeback and make the entire vast area respect us as kings. Behind them, a group of important ministers from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire said with determination. Xiao Lan was traveling at a fast speed. With her speed, she could reach the Liuhai region in a day. Hey, that's the Wuji dynasty, the solipsistic sect, and the southern royal family, as well as a group of first-rate and second-rate forces. What's going on? A few hours ago, the Dragon Phoenix dynasty fled to the Flowing Sea region. All the forces in our vast region are heading in that direction as well. Are they trying to kill us? Oh my god, almost all the forces in our vast region are making a move. They're trying to destroy the Dragon Phoenix dynasty. Feng Luan rode on Little Blue's back as the 3 super factions flew behind her. When everyone in the city below saw this scene, shock appeared on their faces. The 3 super factions could already represent the vast region. The vast region wanted to destroy the Flowing Sea region. Time slowly passed. Feng Luan, Guan Shuqing, and the others used a day to return to the Flowing Sea region. Everyone from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire returned to the Imperial City. Feng Luan followed the Dragon Palace and returned to the Dragon Palace. Judging from the situation of Little Xian, he should be resurrecting soon. The group of girls came to the dragon pool immediately. They looked at the dragon body lying inside and said softly. This time, they did not take the failure of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace to heart. Although they failed, the Dragon Palace had received a huge improvement. When Wang Xian woke up, they could still continue the battle. Time passed day by day. All the forces in the vast region were approaching the Liuhai region bit by bit. Feng Luan and the rest had no idea that the 3 major forces had come to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire. As time passed, Wang Xian's body was already formed in the dragon pool. The 150-meter-long dragon body was shining with a 5-colored radiance. The 5 elements circulated in his body. He lay there quietly like a divine object. I'm just a little bit away from fusing the heart of light and darkness with my body. Wang Xian, who had long regained consciousness, felt his body and revealed an excited expression. The current him could be completely resurrected, but he did not choose to wake up. The heart of light and darkness had been completely fused, but he wanted to fuse the heart of light and darkness with the body of 5 elements. During the near 1 year of resurrection, 60 to 70% of the time was spent on the balance between the heart of light and darkness and the 7 attributes. Now, he was at the final step. Once he succeeded, Wang Xian would be able to grind the 5 elements above his head and step on the yin and yang poles. At that time, his combat strength would receive a huge boost. It might not be comparable to half-step longevity, but it should not be too difficult for him to kill a 9th-level profound void martial artist. Chapter 1627. 1627 was the arrival of many strong people from the vast region. Is the Liuhai region in front of us? Just as Wang Xian was immersed in the dragon pool, the 3 superpowers and a group of strong people from the vast region had arrived at the fringe of the Liuhai region after 5 days. 120,000 strong people were looking at the region in front of them with slight curiosity. There were 60 to 70 places in the entire transcendental continent at the level of the Flowing Sea region. Compared to the vast area, it was a barren small place. Many people had never come to the Flowing Sea region in their entire lives. It was not because they disdained to come, but because it was very difficult for the weak to cross the north-flowing sea. Let's fly forward and find a city to ask for directions. The Supreme Hierarch's cold gaze swept across his eyes. His eyes contained a faint killing intent. The 120,000 people continued to fly forward. Soon, a city appeared in their line of sight. Compared to the vast area of the city in front of them was undoubtedly much simpler. Humph, a small place like this can produce a power like the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. It's really rare. The two ancestors of the Southern royal family stared at the city in front of them with disdain in their eyes. It's not like you haven't seen the power of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire before. You can't be careless. One of the ancestors of the Wuji Empire reminded the Southern royal family and the solipsistic sect lightly. Didn't your Wuji Empire confirm that the Dragon and Phoenix Empire only has 2 experts at the 9th level of the Profound Void tier? Since there are 2 of them, why should we be afraid? With just the strength of your Wuji Empire, you should be able to directly destroy them. The Supreme Headmaster glanced at the 3 ancestors of the Wuji Empire with an unpleasant expression and snorted softly. Previously, the only sect and the Southern royal family had thought that the Dragon Phoenix Empire had 3 level 9 Profound Void martial experts, so they had always been very afraid. However, they didn't expect that the Wuji Empire would tell them that there were only 2. This made them slightly angry. If they had known earlier, they would not have been so timid. Hehe, we only learned about it not too long ago. The Wuji Nation Master smiled. In terms of information, the Wuji Empire was the strongest. However, they had only received this information after the Dragon and Phoenix Empire had left. Based on the information they had received, they could already confirm that the old man called Mo Sho had already left. He didn't belong to the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Let's go, I can't help but want to start a massacre. Southern Emperor Jiang, he said coldly as he flew towards the city in front of them. Boom. The Supreme Headmaster's figure also moved and he immediately flew over. He was like a hurricane of over 10 levels as he flew towards the city in front of him. City Lord of this city, come out immediately. The Supreme Headmaster flew over the city, and his voice entered everyone's ears. Poochie. Hearing the Supreme Headmaster's voice, everyone instantly felt a sweetness in their mouths, and a mouthful of blood was spat out. Some of the weaker people even fainted. Oh my God, is this a god? How terrifying, a voice that almost shattered my heart. Everyone in the city was shocked as they looked in the direction of the Supreme Headmaster in disbelief. Soon after, they saw an army of 120,000 people flying towards them from the sky. They could feel a terrifying pressure and killing intent from everyone in front of them. Sir, I am the City Lord of the Willow City of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. May I know what your orders are? A middle-aged city lord was shocked when he heard this voice. When he flew out of the city lord's mansion and saw the Supreme Headmaster and his 120,000 troops, he was shocked and quickly bowed. Dragon Phoenix Empire? When the Supreme Headmaster heard these words, his eyes revealed a sinister expression. I have descended to this tiny place of yours to destroy you. The Supreme Headmaster raised his arm ruthlessly, and a palm that could destroy a radius of 10 kilometers instantly condensed in the sky. What? Lord, spare my life. The city lord of Liu City saw that the other party had attacked without a word and felt the incomparably huge palm in the sky, and his heart was greatly shocked. Die. The Supreme Headmaster's tyrannical arm waved, and the palm that covered a radius of 10 kilometers directly attacked the city lord of Liu City. Not good, run. It's over. It's over. What a terrifying aura. My God, are they devils? Below, when everyone in the city saw this palm, they shouted in shock. A palm that covered a 10-kilometer radius, what kind of concept was this? To them, it was simply a world-destroying thing. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out, and the entire city seemed as if it had encountered an earthquake of over a dozen magnitude. With a single palm strike, all the buildings collapsed. In the center, within 10 kilometers, the ground sank 50 meters. Over 100,000 people died directly from this palm strike. Stupefied, everyone in Willow City was stupefied. What kind of expert was this? How did they offend such an expert? Everyone from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, Die. The Supreme Headmaster's face revealed a ferocious expression. He raised his arm again and another palm that covered a radius of 10 kilometers appeared. Boom. Another attack and the entire city was covered in dust. Screams, cries for help, and screams instantly covered the entire city. All the people who were still alive looked at the Supreme Hierarch in fear, their faces filled with shock. In their eyes, he was a devil from the abyss. All right, Supreme Hierarch, leave some people to ask the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's imperial city, Dark Eye Patriarch said indifferently. With a wave of his arm, more than 10 people flew in front of him. Lord, spare my life. Don't kill me, don't kill me. The more than 10 people who were caught by Dark Eye Patriarch shouted in despair. Shut up. He shouted softly. The more than 10 people seemed to be hypnotized and their eyes were dull. Soon, information came out of their mouths one by one. Let's go. After killing the powerhouses of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, you can do whatever you want. Dark Eye Patriarch threw the more than 10 people away and said indifferently. The Supreme Headmaster flew toward the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City expressionlessly. The sect that hated the Dragon Phoenix Empire the most was the Solipsistic sect. Originally, the Solipsistic sect was the strongest among the 3 superpowers, but now it was the weakest. The entire Solipsistic mountains had been destroyed. One could imagine how furious he was. The 120,000-strong army flew toward the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City, leaving less than half of the people in Willow City with shocked gazes. What kind of enemy has our Dragon Phoenix Imperial dynasty provoked? Is our Imperial dynasty going to be destroyed? Some people muttered in fear. The surviving city executives immediately opened their communication stone plates and sent the news over. A terrifying and invincible army of experts had arrived at the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City. Chapter 1628. 1628. The 1628 army arrived. A terrifying and invincible army descended upon the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. This information was quickly transmitted to the cities and headed towards the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. The current Liuhai region was very different from the previous Liuhai region. The entire region was completely controlled by the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Be it the families, sects, or sects, they were all restricted. A single word from the Dragon and Phoenix Empress could destroy any clan or force. However, within the short period of time when the Dragon and Phoenix Empire was unified, all the passageways of the cities were opened up. Vicious beasts attacking cities. Demonic beasts wreaking havoc. They didn't exist at all. Once a city, even if it was a town, encountered a vicious beast attacking a city, all they needed was a single piece of information, and the Dragon and Phoenix Empire's army would immediately head over. In the past, at least a few cities in the Liuhai region were attacked by ferocious beasts every year, and tens of millions of people were eaten by ferocious beasts. Now, this wouldn't happen at all. Order entered every corner of the Liuhai region. This made the people of the Liuhai region feel extremely grateful towards the Dragon and Phoenix Empress. The entire Liuhai region was flourishing, and there were more and more experts. Report, there's news from Liu City that a terrifying and invincible army has arrived at the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. One expert killed hundreds of thousands of people in 2 moves. The news quickly reached the Imperial Palace of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. What? An invincible army has arrived. Killed hundreds of thousands of people in Liu City in 2 moves. The expressions of the important officials of the empire changed drastically when they heard the news. Her Majesty the Empress is in the Dragon Palace now. Report immediately. The expression of the important minister of the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty changed drastically, and he hurriedly flew toward the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace was not very far away from the Imperial City, so the information was quickly transmitted to Feng Luan. What? Feng Luan, who was with Lan Qingyu, Guan Shuqing, and the other girls, had a drastic change in expression. The range of one move can cover a radius of 10 kilometers. Only an expert at the 9th rank of the Profound Void Martial stage can do that. An invincible army of more than 100,000 appeared near the North Flowing Sea and came to destroy us. It must be a vast area. Could it be? Feng Luan's expression changed slightly, and her thoughts turned 100 times in an instant. Her expression slowly became solemn. Could it be that the experts from the vast area came to our flowing sea area? Guan Shuqing and the other girls also realized the seriousness of the problem and asked with an embarrassed expression. 100%. Since they dared to come, then the Wuji Empire must have come, Feng Luan said with a gloomy face. They had come. She didn't expect that the Wuji Empire had actually killed their way to the flowing sea region. They didn't have any enmity with the Wuji Empire. Now that they had given up on the vast region, they were still chasing after them. Those who didn't know would think that there was some deep enmity. The Wuji Empire's methods are very ruthless. Once they provoke them, it's best to eradicate them. They're not wrong, but... A monstrous flame appeared in Feng Luan's eyes. Let's go. Feng Luan's expression was somewhat ugly as she immediately flew towards the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City. We'll go too. Prime Minister Gui, send the members of the Dragon Palace to the Dragon Phoenix Imperial City, Lan Qingyu and the other girls said with serious expressions. It's the Dragon Queen. Prime Minister Gui frowned and nodded. The group quickly flew into the Imperial City. The Imperial City was transformed from the tomb of a demi-human, and the entire dynasty was enormous. It had the prodigy stage and many other paradises. The main hall became the center of the dynasty. There were no city walls in the Imperial City because the Invincible Dragon and Phoenix dynasty didn't need city walls. Enter alert. Prepare for battle in the north. Feng Luan flew into the Imperial City and immediately shouted. Her cold voice resounded throughout the entire Imperial City. What's the situation? Alert. Alert for what? Who dares to invade our Dragon and Phoenix dynasty? Is there an invasion? Is it a fierce beast or something? Who dares to invade our Dragon and Phoenix Empire? They are courting death. There were 60 to 70 million people in the entire Dragon and Phoenix Imperial City. Most of the experts in the Liuhai region were gathered here. When they heard Feng Luan's voice, all of them had shocked expressions on their faces. Who dared to invade the Invincible Dragon and Phoenix Empire in the Liuhai region? Alert! The north. Could it be? However, when the soldiers and generals who had followed Feng Luan to fight in the vast area heard these two words, they all had solemn expressions on their faces. Could it be? The experts from the vast area are here, right? If they are here, then the experts from the Wuji Empire are definitely here. Not good. The expressions of the soldiers and generals changed drastically. Quick, quick, head to the north immediately. All the soldiers immediately flew towards the north. Because there were no city walls, everyone stood on the plains. In less than 5 minutes, hundreds of thousands of soldiers stood in neat rows. In the sky, void interpretation experts rode on all kinds of powerful mounts. Many experts of the demonic beast clan also floated in the sky. Behind them, the curious citizens of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire numbered in the tens of millions. They were discussing in shock, who was the intruder that made the Empress personally come over. Everyone was looking at the Empress at the front. Reporting to the Empress, according to the information from Willow City, with the speed of the intruder, they should arrive in our Imperial City in an hour. A minute ago, there was a message. The Spirit Heart City along the way was destroyed, and more than half of the millions of people died. According to the information, the hundreds of thousands of troops were divided into 3 waves of forces. One by one, the message reached Feng Luan's ears again, causing her to tightly clench her arms. It seems that the Wuji Empire has also arrived. This time, it's going to be troublesome. Guan Shuqing and the other girls frowned and said solemnly. Emperor Feng, the 3 forces of the vast area are joining forces. It's a war between the vast area and our flowing sea region. We are no match for them. There's only one way now, which is to retreat and defend the Dragon Palace. Prime Minister Gui suggested to Feng Luan with a frown. Retreat and defend the Dragon Palace. A level 4 Dragon Palace could defend against the attacks of experts below the age of 10,000, and the combat strength of the members of the Dragon Palace could be increased by 4 times within a range of 1,000 kilometers. What kind of concept was this? It was easy for one to fight against 4 people. Even if all the experts in the vast area descended, the Dragon Palace would not be afraid. Retreat and defend the Dragon Palace? Feng Luan's expression changed, and she quickly shook her head. She said embarrassedly, no, with the viciousness of the experts in the vast area and the hatred of the solipsistic sect, if we retreat and defend the Dragon Palace, they will slaughter the entire Liuhai region. Sister Feng Luan, we are not their match at all. Guan Shuqing and the others' expressions changed slightly when they heard her words. They are not my match. Feng Luan clenched her fists tightly and gritted her teeth. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. No, didn't you say that once you transform into a fire phoenix, you will be easily discovered? If you transform today, even if you kill them, your identity will be 100% exposed in the future. After being exposed, with the Phoenix dynasty's strength, it'll be very difficult to turn things around. Lan Qingyu immediately retorted. Boom. Then, just as Lan Qingyue's voice sounded out, waves of terrifying aura suddenly charged over. An invisible aura rushed over from a direction of dozens of kilometers. What kind of aura is this? Below, all the soldiers were shocked and couldn't help but exclaim. Behind them, the expressions of the tens of millions of people from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire also changed drastically. The aura of this onslaught caused them to tremble. We didn't even see the enemy's figure, yet a terrifying aura was transmitted over this. Thank you to all the brothers and sisters who have rewarded us. Please subscribe and support us. Thank you.